Probably just another stump speech? Yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll see, won't we? We'll see in an hour and 5 minutes. What's up? Who is this? Don't know. Don't know any guy who streams this late. Sorry, I was having a good time socializing. I was out. I've liked the stream. Good, good. All going according to plan. How dare you have fun? No, no. I got some good stuff while I was out. My favorite little cute oddity store in Seattle, Woodland Mod over in Ballard, and a couple other places nearby in Ballard, nearby. I got some really cute stuff. Look at this adorable Japanese, like rose gold and granite sticky note. Am I going to use it? I don't know. Is it shiny? Yes. Beautiful. Sticky Note Japan? Oh, yeah. Oh, 100% Sticky Note Japan. You want to see Notebook, England? Super, super cute. I love it. I'm going to fit this in like a work pocket or something. Why so brown? Because it's cool. You can't just ask people why so brown. And also, I got some scissors. All the scissors in this household are like ancient and non-functional. But I got these Craig Hill scissors. You might have seen these. It's a popular brand. Look, all bright primary colors. These things are super duper heavy and durable and very cute. Very, very fond of them. To-do. Poppy Playtime scissors? Well, they're primary colors. Oy, oy. Gotta embrace a bit of whimsy. You gonna cut the rest of your hair off with those? No, I don't think so. People are complimenting me on it, though. Maybe I should cut my own hair more. Can you apologize for promoting botulism? Never. All right, all right, all right. Oh my god. Okay, we need to be efficient with our use of time here because there's a lot to cover. The first thing that I want to talk about, and I'm very happy to talk about it, is that due in large part to mounting pressure against Israel, I mean, the line is definitely shifted over time, right? Space? Not space. AP News wants to talk about space. I want to talk about a proud Latinx woman. Thank you. AOC is now saying she will oppose all military aid to Israel, including defensive weapons. Thank God in the sky, we're finally seeing the needle move over. I think even Rahm Emanuel said this. I guess that's the needle shifting. He said it, I think right after AOC, that if Israel wants to buy weapons from us, they should at the very least pay like market price for it, which I think it's crazy that the line has been pushed to the point where that's like a radical position. Like you're a radical in Congress if you don't think Israel should get weapons for free. But AOC is specifically referring to the Leahy Agreement here, which, again, it's illegal for us to provide weapons to Israel. The Israeli government is well able to fund the Iron Dome system, which has proven critical to keep innocent civilians safe from rocket attacks and bombardment. I like this framing, Like she's not arguing that the Iron Dome protects civilians, because it objectively does. She's like, they can pay for it. They can pay for it, I think they can afford it, Consistent with my voting record to date, I will not support Congress sending more taxpayer dollars in military aid to a government that consistently ignores international law and U.S. law. Netanyahu's allies in the Knesset just approved a $45 billion defense budget, and the Prime Minister himself also asserted his interest in withdrawing from the MOU with the United States in January. It's fully within their ability to fund the Iron Dome and their other defensive systems. Our allies who need our military aid must understand we will provide it consistent with the Leahy Agreement and the Foreign Assistance Act. totally inconsistent, but if she's for real, that's for good. Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. I would, it would definitely be more epic and based in Red Pill if she was like, no Iron Dome funding because I want the Hamas missiles to hit Tel Aviv. But, you know, I didn't think that was on the table. Didn't think that was on the table. Listen, just admit you made a mistake by voting to fund them in the past. I do think that it is weaselly of her to say consistent with my voting record to date, which is like an obvious lie. I don't know why she wouldn't, you know? I don't know why she wouldn't be on. Like, everyone knows that this is a new position from her. I'm glad she's moving in the correct direction. I just don't understand why. Like, I feel like if anything, she could actually benefit. She could get more rep by saying like, I felt pressured into saying this. Everyone know, like the first time she voted for Iron Dome funding was after Pelosi like beat her half to death, you know, off the House floor. She never voted for funding though. Yeah, she has. Well, she voted in that one. She voted neutral rather than against. But no, she's consistently said over years that she's fine with providing funding for the Iron Dome. Ro Khanna? What about Ro Khanna? I'm willing to get my balls smashed for did he concur? How the fuck would I know? We're not talking about Ro Khanna. You fucking Google it. What about it? I don't know. Go check. Willing to get my balls smashed with this opinion, but I see it as a cynical attempt at trying to get left-wing sympathy because she has not once voted against it and has failed to signal she'll be different until she may. Look, you can say it's cynical. It's impossible to know for sure how cynical anyone's ever being when they do something that you want them to do anyway. I'm just glad she's doing it. You know? I think her voting record might otherwise be cynical, and this is her being more sincere. If this is her being more sincere, then she should be honest about the fact that this is not consistent with her voting record to date. It does, like, that does ring pretty insincere. It's a lie. She said, like, she might be saying voting record because she's trying to thread the needle on like a present vote or whatever. But she has absolutely said many times before, like, she's in favor of Iron Dome funding, you know? What matters? She changed her mind now? Yeah, I guess. It is funny Rahm Emanuel's done the same thing, you know? Pretty soon everyone's going to gonna have to distance themselves. Oh my god, Bagheera's losing her damn mind. She's not used to me streaming around now. Shoosh. Yeah, here. Rahm Emanuel says U.S. taxpayers should not foot the bill. On the funding for Israel, you told Vox in the future if they want military funding, they can pay for weapons like everybody else. It's clear. That's not what I said. What I said was they'll no longer get U.S. taxpayer support. They'll get the same restrictions like any other country that buys any of our weapons. They'll be a country among countries. Work for President Obama. It's a different game now. You will not get the U.S. taxpayers to foot the bill for you. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's still a big shift, I suppose. Soon everyone will always have been against defensive funding. Not everyone, buddy. Not everyone. Huge shift for Rahm. I guess it makes sense. Like, a protege of the Obama administration would be less warm in Israel than a lot of the like long-term Democratic insiders, considering the fact that Obama was not as favorable towards Israel as many other Democrats would have preferred he be. Does that limit include funding for the Iron Dome? Look, no one else has the Iron Dome. There's a lot of other countries that want it. Now, what you can say about the Iron Dome is that it was jointly developed, so that's something we have to think through. But what I'm saying is you won't get taxpayer support anymore. You're going to pay full price. You don't have special status. Even that in the Democratic Party today is like a radical position, you know? Obama was trying to avoid all this. It's crazy to find a situation where he does deserve accolades, but yes, Obama probably did face a bunch of internal pressure from people like Schumer with regard to, you know, like the JCPOA or his general positions and attitude towards Israel. Yeah. Isn't it dangerous for the world, though, if Israel feels increasingly threatened? Dog, we have to go through this at some point or another. We can't do infinite appeasement to Israel, you know? We can't, like, there has to eventually be my thinking is that there's going to be a reckoning eventually, so we want to have it sooner rather than later. It's how I felt about Russia, too. I'm being consistent in my position. Full force to defending with Ukraine because you don't want to have to deal with Russia and their ambitions after they've conquered Ukraine, you know? You would prefer to, yeah, rip the Band-Aid off early. Don't give them a bunch of years of because this literally what happened with Nazi Germany, right? They got Austria, they got the Sudetenland, they ate up Poland in no time. Like, you give them a bunch of free wins early on, and they get really fucking confident. I guarantee you that if Hitler had not been allowed to march into Austria or the Sudetenland, he would not have gone on to do World War II. Or, you know what? I'm going to soften my statement. It would not have gone down the way it did. If after the Sudetenland, all the European powers have been like, fuck no, you need the, like, immediate, like, sanctions, embargoes, everything, like, it would have put an end to his ambitions much faster. He probably wouldn't have needed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. They wouldn't have split up Poland. It would have, yeah, he would have floundered. You have to put your foot down as early as possible. We're about 80 years too late putting our foot down to Israel, but better that than 81. If the Allies were to fight Nazi Germany in 1936, they would have gotten their ass kicked. I don't know enough about history to contest that claim. All I can really say is that, like, uh, allowing them to annex territory and consolidate and build up unopposed definitely didn't help. But I'm not, like, it's not my field. Do you think this is a way for AOC to get points ahead of Gavin Newsom? You mean, like, is this her pitching for a presidential run? I don't know. It could be her pitching for a Senate run. A presidential's that's a can she even do that? She's not, I don't think she's old enough. She's not 35. Yeah, she's not even old enough to be president. Senate run, though, maybe. Not sure it would have supported his narrative that the German people were singled out and oppressed by the world. This is a big myth that the far right has tried to push. The idea that, like, if you stamp on them, that will only validate their persecution complex. They already have the persecution complex. Israel has been given, like, basically unlimited political support. AOC's 36. Okay, maybe she could. Unlimited political support by America and free weapons and everything, and they still act like they're the most oppressed people in the world. You know, the idea that you can't, like, that's what they want you to think. They want you to think, like, oh no, don't stop us while we're weak. You'll only make us stronger. It reminds me of every, like, anti-deplatforming argument made by the alt-right back in 2019, where they were like, actually, by deplatforming us, you're only making our views seem more salacious and palatable because now they're forbidden, which is taboo and exciting. And then Stefan Molyneux got banned off YouTube and instantly became a nobody. He went from having, like, 1 million subs and being hugely influential and doing fucking documentaries, and then overnight he became an absolute nobody. Instantly nobody cared about him anymore, and from then on his life was nothing. He returned to dust. So it turns out all the you know, alt-right crabbing about, oh, don't deplatform us, yeah, do it, you'll just make us stronger. It turns out they were lying, as they always do. And he murdered his wife too? No, that's the other guy. Did Stefan Molyneux murder his wife? I think you're thinking of JF Gariepi. Is love, you idiot. That one. Maybe they both murdered their wives. Who knows? The potato. I love the potato women. I go up and down the East Coast. I make love to every potato woman I see. What a guy. Easily the funniest Epstein associate. God. It's not actually an Epstein associate. He just took money from Epstein. It's okay. Fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Didn't he fuck mentally disabled women? Yeah, potato women. That's what I said. He's so iconic. Yeah, we're unlike Stefan Molyneux, who instantly became irrelevant. The ghost of JF Gariepi haunts our thoughts many years later. You know, that's why it's important to be yourself. If you're him, you shouldn't be yourself, but it will make you memorable. For Ocasio-Cortez, who many have floated as a possible progressive candidate for the next presidency cycle, this defending statement likely eased concerns for many on the left who have questioned or passed votes in the House relating to U.S. military funding to Israel. In 2021, Ocasio-Cortez voted present on a bill to fund the Iron Dome, Israel's air defense system, in an emotional vote that prompted tears from the Congresswoman on the House floor. The measure passed overwhelmingly with a 420-9 vote, with 2 members voting present. Ocasio-Cortez explained her vote in a message to her constituents in the state's 14th congressional district, saying that while she was opposed to the bill's substance, the vote itself was rushed and did not allow for proper consideration of the issue. Yeah, no. Yes, I wept. I wept at the complete lack of care for the human beings that are impacted by these decisions. I wept at an institution choosing a path of maximum volatility, minimum consideration for some political. Yeah. I don't trust AOC at all. I wish I did. Listen, she's still one of the better ones. This is a good step. If nothing else, we should all be happy that public opinion is turning against Israel rapidly enough for stuff like this to happen. I still think the Rahm Emanuel thing is more surprising, but I'm more happy AOC is doing this. This is what we wanted. Yeah, we can't be too upset when the thing that we specifically said that we wanted happens. Why do you think AOC is compromised or just weak? I mean, I know she's weak. Compromised? I mean, everyone's compromised to an extent, I guess. I don't know what is being compromised and what's weakness. It all kind of blurs from a distance. I know I'm disappointed in her for a variety of things, but she's still better than, you know, majority of people. Being a leftist and getting involved in electoral politics is an exercise in nonstop disappointment. That's not a bug, that's the feature. You know, you have to accept that to a point. It's not just over there either. I saw this polling on the British people, who are generally a lot more compliant when it comes to Israel than Americans are now. I think, I don't know, maybe it's complicated. About anti-Semitism and support for Israel, where a whopping, and this is pretty big, 45% of the population, 45% of the British population says Israel treats the Palestinians like the Nazis treated the Jews. That's a strong statement. And 45% is a lot of the population. That's a big shift, you know? That's big. It's crazy how fucking cuck to Israel reform is, you know? They're literally like the closest thing Britain has to a Nazi party. Only 19% of reform thinks that Israel treats the Palestinians the way the Nazis treated the Jews. Also, majority opinion in all the left-leaning parties. Yeah, Green, Lib Dem, Labor. Even Labor. Even Labor. Yeah, reform is both the most anti-Semitic and the most pro-Israel of the parties, which is perfect. It's picture perfect, you know? 24% of reform voters say Jewish people chase money more than other people do, or more than 3 times as many Green voters. But they are by far the least likely to believe that Israel's treating Palestinians the way the Nazis treated the Jews. Very consistent. It does make sense, 100%. Zionism is anti-Semitism. Can we call the death penalty for Palestinian law in Israel the Israel gas chamber bill? I just think to make things fair that every neighboring Arab country should put forth their own law that has a Israel-specific death penalty carve-out for people convicted of terrorism. I think since we've all agreed to pay, since American politicians are apparently like okay with this, you know, I'm just in the interest of consistency, you know, it's all the same, right? It's only the terrorists that are getting treated to the death penalty. Fucking monsters. It's not really cucked if they're both just fascist. Kind of, but like Britain benefits even less from Israel's rampage than we do, you know? Like the American evangelicals, the MIC ties, the tech companies, that's all American, right? Britain's just riding the fucking coattails. The death penalty thing really is so unfathomably evil. Did you see Ben Gavir like showing off the hanging chamber? That was pretty cool. Ben Gavir's a terrorist? Well, let's hope he never sets foot in an Arab country. Anyway, the important part here is that AOC changed her mind. Or at least said she did. Here? Ugh. $1 billion new groypers. Not a gas chamber, Lexi Glor, but a hanging chamber. It's death by hanging. Anyway. Second. So yeah, like AOC's backing off the Iron Dome type shit. Can Plattner win any harder, folks? Remember all the people, like all the nervous liberals early on who were like, he's unelectable. There's no way he's going to win. And now all the polling data shows him crushing, just crushing Mills. And the Republican. Vosh is so wrong on this, and I'm tired of pretending he's not. The law is a good thing. It means tens of thousands of Palestinians will get the death penalty before Israel murders them. You're saying it's Israel offering like a compassionate escape. What would you prefer? A Palestinian prisoner being executed or being raped for the rest of their life until they die? And then their rapists getting celebrated as national heroes. In a utilitarian sense, actually, if you think about it, Plattner 66%, Mills 28%. That's fucking crazy. I saw one of the Pod Save guys calling him a Nazi. Jon Favreau, I think. Or he was being glib, but you know. Remember when you said it's pointless for a random person to run for Congress? No, I don't think I ever said that, as a matter of fact. That would be a fascinating thing to say, you know, hypothetically. Isn't that the dipshit that directed Iron Man? I don't know. Is it? Is that true? Did Jon Favreau direct Iron Man? Different Favreau. Okay, all right. I'm learning all kinds of crazy stuff from you guys. You know, all kinds of crazy stuff. Sheesh. Thought it was Star Wars. Oh, that's right. The Pod Save Boys directed Star Wars. Why can't I find that tweet? Why the fuck can't I? I need to use the search in account feature on Twitter more often. Except Twitter's search function is fucking awful, so it doesn't really work that well. Dude, I can't find it. Huh. Oh, whatever. Look it up. I am looking it up. I can't find it. I can't find what Jon Favreau said. He was just making a glib comment about Plattner being a Nazi because of his tattoo. Okay, bizarrely, I'm finding an older tweet from Jon Favreau from a month ago where he's saying Plattner isn't a Nazi. Did nobody else see that tweet? Am I hallucinating? Huh. Dementia? Yeah, I guess so. Jesus. Came to you in a dream? Fake account maybe? No, it was the real account. I don't know. The recent tweet was a joke. Pod Save's been pro Plattner for a while. So Masai, you are confirming independently as a second party that the tweet existed and was real, and I'm not actually hallucinating it. Maybe he deleted it because people were taking it seriously? Okay. All right. What do you think of the Plattner Blackwater accusations? I genuinely forget. He had like some affiliation with them. I don't really care. It turns out we're like bleeding away all my position. I don't really care about anything, I guess. I just want you to be anti-Zionist, basically. It's like the world is ending. It's like I feel like all the moral lines have crossed, the intersections of all the different positions have crossed at like a single junction. And it's like it's basically like if you're pro-Zionist, you're pro-ending the world, and if you're anti-Zionist, you're pro-not ending the world. And I think that's a pretty important Jesus is coming back. Not on their terms. You still care about the economy, though? Yeah, but I would trust anti-Zionists in the economy more than Zionists. Because being a Zionist means being subservient to capital, and being subservient to capital means that you continue the reckless deficit spending, no new taxation, no consolidation, no anti-consolidation of wealth, pro-oligarchy. It all comes back together. There's a million threads that all tie in the center at this point, you know? Yeah, I saw that blue mug. I saw it the other day. Oh, how nice. I hear it. My next fresh batch of brown rice is ready. I look forward to slowly eating the contents of that pot over the next 2 to 3 days. And living. And living. I can't believe what you people put me through. I'm not doing this again. Except I just brought it up again. I'm not the... Let's not have the conversation I clearly want to have. Okay? Thank you. Are you sure you're alive? I don't know how to answer that. I mean, I am. We all have agreed collectively that we're in hell, right? So, can we be alive in spite of that? Fuck, 35 minutes till the goddamn presidential announcement. You guys see the message from Iran? The statement? The vain attempt to reach out at Americans in spite of our illiteracy? Four entire pages. In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful? Iran sending DMs? So it's a crazy modern world, you know? You wouldn't have gotten this back 50 years ago. You can just post shit on Twitter now. The Taliban has Twitter accounts. To the people of the United States of America, and to all those who, amid a flood of distortions and manufactured narratives, continue to seek the truth and aspire to a better life, Iran, by this very name, character, and identity, is one of the oldest continuous civilizations in human history. That's true. Despite its historical and geographic advantages at various times, Iran has never, in its modern history, chosen the path of aggression, expansion, colonialism, or domination. That's by and large true, like relatively speaking. Yeah, I guess. It's not strictly speaking true, but I guess if you're talking to America, you can say this and it's fine. You know what I mean? It's like you can say, I don't really drink when you're talking to an alcoholic, even if you have a glass now and again. Um, Even after enduring occupation, invasion, and sustained pressure from global powers, and despite possessing military superiority over many of its neighbors, Iran has never initiated a war. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, modern Iran. I think one time they like invaded Greece at the siege of Thermopylae or something. I watched a movie about it. I don't know what it's called. Yet it has resolutely and bravely repelled those who have attacked it. The Iranian people harbor no enmity towards other nations, including the people of America, Europe, or neighboring countries. Even in the face of repeated foreign interventions and pressures throughout their proud history, Iranians have consistently drawn a clear distinction between governments and the peoples they govern. This is a deeply rooted principle in Iranian culture and collective consciousness, not a temporary political stance. That is, by and large, true, I think, yeah. I think that at least for as long as we've been doing polling, for the most part, the Iranian people have been relatively consistent with this. Like, they hate the American government, but it's not so much a broader rejection of the American people. Obviously, there are like Iranian racists and stuff, but I think that for the most part, this is true. They don't really engage in campaigns of like essentialist hate in the same way that we have. Well, there are a lot of anti-Semites in Iran, due to some environmental factors. There's been little bit of opposition in the region. I'm giving this like a solid, like, mostly true. I think a solid mostly true. For this reason, portraying Iran as a threat is neither consistent with historical reality nor with present-day observable facts. That is 100% true. For the United States, they're just not a threat to us in any way. Such a perception is the product of political and economic whims of the powerful, the need to manufacture an enemy in order to justify pressure, maintain military dominance, sustain the arms industry, and control strategic markets. In such an environment, if a threat does not exist, it is invented. Factually true, inarguable. Also, by the way, what leftists have been saying for decades, and no one listens to us, people have continued to pretend that our dalliances in the Middle East, even if ill-intended and poorly thought out, were still the product of like the individual idiosyncrasies of people like George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, rather than part of a protracted, centuries-long process of extraction of the Middle East and the developing world in general. Yeah. With this same framework, the U.S. has concentrated the largest number of its forces, bases, and military capabilities around Iran, a country that, at least since the founding of the United States, has never initiated a war. Recent American aggressions launched from these very bases have demonstrated how threatening such a military presence truly is. Naturally, no country confronted with such conditions would forgo strengthening its defensive capabilities. What Iran has done and continues to do is a measured response grounded in legitimate self-defense and by no means an initiation of war or aggression. That is true. Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue that, I think. Argue against that, I mean. Relations between Iran and the U.S. were not originally hostile, and early interactions between the Iranian and American people were not marred with hostility or coup d'etat. In illegal American 1953 tension. I think there's an issue with the translation here. The font's changed. I don't know why. The turning point, however, was, Charlie Kirk, was the intervention aimed at preventing the nationalization of Iran's own resources. Yes, that coup disrupted Iran's democratic process, reinstated dictatorship, and sowed deep distrust among Iranians towards U.S. policies. This distrust deepened further with America's support for the Shah's regime, its backing of Saddam Hussein during the imposed war of the 1980s, the imposition of the longest and most comprehensive sanctions in modern history, and ultimately unprovoked military aggression twice in the middle of negotiations against Iran. Yeah. Pretty hard to argue this one. Like, yeah, we did impose the Shah to maintain control over the resources, and we did defend him, and we did defend Saddam Hussein in his barbarous war with Iran, and we have held sanctions against them for decades. We've it's pretty hard to argue with that. Yeah, Yet all these pressures have failed to weaken Iran. On the contrary, the country has grown before the Islamic 30% in many areas. Literacy rates have tripled. Again, it's a translation issue, I think. Translation issue. From roughly today, higher education has expanded dramatically. Significant 90% revolution to over advances have been achieved in modern technology. Healthcare services have improved. Infrastructure has developed at a pace and scale incomparable to the past. These are measurable, observable realities that stand independent of fabricated narratives. At the same time, the destruction and inhumane impact of sanctions, war, and aggression on the lives of the resilient Iranian people must not be underestimated. The continuation of military aggression and recent bombings profoundly affect people's lives, attitudes, and perspectives. This reflects a fundamental human truth. When war inflicts irreparable harm on lives, homes, cities, and futures, people will not remain indifferent towards those responsible. Yeah? This raises a fundamental question. Exactly which of the American people's interests are truly being served by this war? Was there any objective threat from Iran to justify such behavior? Does the massacre of innocent children, the destruction of cancer treatment pharmaceutical facilities, or boasting about bombing a country, quote, back to the Stone Age, end quote, serve any purpose other than further damaging the U.S.'s global standing? Iran pursued negotiations, reached an agreement, and fulfilled all its commitments. The decision to withdraw from that agreement, escalate towards confrontation, and launch 2 acts of aggression in the midst of negotiations were destructive choices made by the U.S. government, choices that serve the delusions of a foreign aggressor. Yeah? Attacking Iran's vital infrastructure, including energy and industrial facilities, directly targets the Iranian people. It's just weird. I understand, again, like, I feel like a lot of people would have thought it unthinkable, even leftists, that we would one day reach a point in time where the Iranian government was just infinitely more credible, honest, and intelligent than the American government, even on matters of American interest. You know? It goes beyond Iran being able to make a good case for its own existence, and now it's just like they know better for us, too, which they do, than our own government. That is absolutely true. Attacking Iran's vital infrastructure, including energy and industrial facilities, directly targets the Iranian people. Beyond constituting a war crime, such actions carry consequences that extend far beyond Iran's borders. They generate instability, increase human and economic costs, and perpetuate cycles of tension, planting seeds of resentment that will endure for years. This is not a demonstration of strength. It is a sign of strategic bewilderment and an inability to achieve a sustainable solution. Is it not also the case that America entered this aggression as a proxy for Israel, influenced and manipulated by that regime? That's also true. It's objectively true. The Trump administration admitted to it. Democrats and Republicans will treat you like an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist, but multiple Republican officials have said several times that the primary motivation for getting into this war was that Israel basically, beleaguered us into it, sending envoys and state assets like Lindsey Graham and threatening to bomb Iran anyway without our help, which would surely lead to retaliation against our bases. Is it not true that Israel, by manufacturing an Iranian threat, seeks to divert global attention away from its crimes towards the Palestinians? Is it not evident that Israel now aims to fight Iran to the last American soldier and the last taxpayer dollar? Yep, the Israeli government did say that if we did a boots-on-the-ground war in Iran, it would not send its soldiers to help us. That is true. Shifting the burden of its delusions onto Iran, the region, and the U.S. itself in its pursuit of illegitimate interests? Is America first truly among the priorities of the U.S. government today? I invite you to look beyond the machinery of misinformation, an integral part of this aggression, and instead speak with those who have visited Iran. Observe the many accomplished Iranian immigrants educated in Iran who now teach and conduct research at the world's most prestigious universities or contribute to the most advanced technological firms in the West. This is actually kind of a bold strategy because a lot of the Iranian diaspora are like not great politically. Though their opinions have shifted over the past couple of months with regards to like aggression towards Iran. It's an interesting strat, I think. Do these realities align with the distortions you are being told about Iran and its people? Today, the world stands at crossroads. Continuing along the path of confrontation is more costly and futile than ever before. The choice between confrontation and engagement is both real and consequential. Its outcome will shape the future for generations to come. Throughout its millennia of proud history, Iran has outlasted many aggressors. All that remains of them are tarnished names in history, while Iran endures, resilient, dignified, and proud. Yeah, it's pretty good. Should have run it through the translate a few more times, I think. Buff out some of the errors, but, by and large. Support for war is plummeting with Iranians, by the way. Yeah, makes sense. Early war views versus mid-war views. So over the course of a month, disapproval shot up by 17 points. That's crazy. I think there's something to be said about the fact that the US has murdered all the eldest Iranian leaders, and the ones who are left over now are younger and more online media literate than the whole. Yeah, for sure, 100%. I also think there's something to be said about the fact that they're just more literate and more intelligent than our leaders. It's true. Like the average American politician is a used car salesman, a pedophile, Christian nationalist, incest-bred retard who got in through daddy's connections. The like genuinely so again, not to touch on but hopefully not linger on another topic that we've been discussing lately on this stream about American literacy. I don't think anything here is difficult to read. I think a middle schooler should be able to read this, but I guarantee you the average MAGA cannot, and the average Republican politician could not. I guarantee you. I actually think if you handed this off to one of them, the average Republican politician in Congress would stammer over it, like a school child being asked to read a passage from a book that's beyond their literacy level. Is Iran capitalist? Yes. I mean, every country, by my lofty standards, every country is basically. But you know, yeah, they have some state-owned assets. Why are we attacking Iran again? Israel wanted us to. Iran's recently been making strides in regenerative medicine, a field that would help everyone. I know this due to personal obsession on the subject. It's not just Iran. Like, hasn't Cuba developed a specific kind of cancer treatment that is not really available in the United States? They've done this in spite of the fact that they've been running on fumes. They don't even have fumes now, but you know. Lung cancer vaccine? Lung cancer vaccine. That's big. Now we can finally smoke. Can finally leave those gay ass water vapes to the side and get back to what we should be doing, which is smoking, you know, camels. Nah, cigars. Maybe if you're Cuban. Cigars are crazy try. If you're smoking a cigar and you're not either A, in a gentleman's smoking club, or B, literally on the beach at that moment with a gigantic straw hat and a like you know, Havana shirt or something, I think you're LARPing. And a mojito. What if you're Tony Soprano? So a big theme in The Sopranos is that he is LARPing. I think in the first episode, he's like, "You ever feel like you got in after the party was over?" Like that's a big part. He is LARPing. What the fuck is LARPing? LARPing is when someone does something that you don't like. Reviewed to the speech. Okay, yeah, I guess we should get ready for that. Hold on 1 second. Iran's heartfelt letter falls flat to illiterate pig fucking Americans. If Trump pulls out at this point, America's done as a superpower. I think that we are done as a superpower anyway. The myth of American military supremacy is done. We've done to ourselves what Russia did. Though it's worth noting that Russia has accomplished more than us. Like, at least Russia was engaging in a massive ground war against an opponent that was not technologically their peer, but at least roughly in the ballpark. Whereas we are technologically like laps ahead of Iran, and we're still somehow breaking our kneecaps, even though they're not even touching our territory. It's the leadership? Yeah, but like that's how it works, right? Hopefully our nukes don't even work. That'd be pretty funny. Okay, so I guess let's get ready to rumble. During tonight's address to the nation from the Oval Office, again, keep in mind, Trump is doing an all broadcast address, as in all of the broadcast television networks are being told to cede their programming and show the president. They're not covering it at will. They're giving their time to the president. It is this is typically the kind of thing that a president would do after like 9/11. You know, this is typically the sort of thing that a president would do during an actual after 9/11. We're being attacked. Pearl Harbor. We've dropped the nukes in Hiroshima. Something like that. OS Int Defender seems convinced that he's going to say that we need to send troops on the ground to Iran. So that's cool. And also, we have a 2-minute video from Marco Rubio from this morning. I don't know what it contains. Let's take a look. Whatever it is, it's sure to have something to do with this speech tonight.
Many Americans are asking, why did the United States have to attack Iran now?
Great idea to have this conversation a month after we've started. You know, maybe you should have put a little bit more effort into pitching this to the American people like before we did it. Yeah, when things are going very well. Okay, so we're all wondering who the guys are that did this.
Well, let me explain. Iran wants to have nuclear weapons. Of that, there is zero doubt. If what they truly wanted, which is what they claim, is nuclear energy.
He sounds hysterical, just right off the bat. Secretary of State, you're putting this video forward. You're like rushing through your points. That's great. You actually sound like panicked.
Well, they could have nuclear energy like all the other countries in the world have it. And that is you import the fuel and you build reactors above ground. That's not what Iran has done.
Okay, I mean this. I'm not trying to do a bit. It actually sounds like he rushed this out. Like he's actually scared. I have no idea why he sounds like this. This is an insanely bad look. You're the Secretary of State.
They build their reactors and their facilities deep in mountains, away from the public glare, and they want to enrich that material. The same equipment that they could use to enrich material for energy, they could use to quickly enrich it to weapons grade. So it is clear that they've been offered every
incoherent, badly organized. Is there not even a script? Are you following a teleprompter, or are you just riffing this? Why are you talking like this?
Opportunity to have a nuclear program that allows them to have energy, not weapons, and every program that allows them to have energy, not weapons. Nuclear program that allows them to have energy, not weapons, and
it reminds me of the Bessent stutter. Yeah, after he got pulled away mid-press conference.
Every single time they have turned it down. But why the attack now? Well, what was Iran trying to do? Iran was trying to build a conventional shield, in essence, have so many missiles, have so many drones that no one could attack them, and they were well on their way. We were on the verge of an Iran that had so many missiles and so many drones that no one could do anything.
I genuinely have no explanation for this. Let me try to think of one. Marco Rubio was hard as a rock after he was able to stomp on Venezuela with basically no pushback. He was looking forward to doing it to Cuba, but another wing of the Republican Party, the Lindsey Graham wing, pushed Trump into this conflict with Iran, and now he's stuck dealing with the consequences of this globally ruinous, unsolvable problem. And I assume to some extent he's taking the blame. I don't know why he sounds like this.
About their nuclear weapons program in the future. That was an intolerable risk. Under no circumstances can a country run by radical Shia clerics with an apocalyptic vision of the future ever possess nuclear weapons.
Projection. I think he said this on Fox News recently too, that Iran wants to bring about the end of the world. Unbelievable, ridiculous projection. That's literally what your people want. That's the stated goal of your people.
And under no circumstances can they be allowed to hide and protect that program and their ambitions behind a program and their ambitions and protect that program and their ambitions.
I know that we're used to incompetence from this administration, but can you try to like grapple with the amount of incoherent flailing that must be going on behind the scenes to put a video like this out? You're already struggling hard enough to pitch this war to the American people. You legitimately sound like you're trying not to cry.
Behind a shield of missiles and drones that no one can do anything about. This was our last best chance to eliminate that conventional threat, that conventional shield that they were trying to build. And the president made the right decision.
What's the point of this video? That's a good question. This video being put out and clearly being rushed out makes me think that there might be some whispering, there might be some gossip in the Republican Party about how badly this is going to go, and they might be looking for a fall guy. Trump will never be the fall guy because he's the center of the cult. It always is going to be someone around him. And it's maybe Marco Rubio heard that he might be like teed up to take the blame for this, so he's racing ahead of time to prove loyalty to Trump so that the eye might turn out like elsewhere. I don't know.
Wipe it out now. That is the goal of this operation, to destroy their conventional missiles and their drone program so they can't hide behind it and finally have to deal with the world seriously about never, ever.
He's shuddering. His voice is shaking. He sounds like if you told an actor to sound panicked.
Made the right decision to wipe it out now. That is the goal of this operation, to destroy their conventional missiles and their drone program so they can't hide behind it and finally have to deal with the world seriously about never, ever having nuclear weapons.
That was really bizarre. Why would they sacrifice Rubio? Isn't he the best option for 2028? Well, he might be the best option for the Republican Party, but that doesn't mean they're going to go with it. They're completely beholden to Trump. If Trump decides a guy's going to be the fall guy, that's it. You know? Was that it? Yeah, that was like completely incoherent. It makes me think that there wasn't even a script. That was not a sane way of pitching an argument. Like, he didn't even explain the priors. He didn't even, if you're talking to the American people, but he's not talking to the American people. He's talking to Trump. We've seen them do this before. It's like their cabinet meetings. They look at the camera, but they're talking to Trump. It's a way of proving loyalty. But he sounds terrified. Did you see those ears? You're being tedious. I've known about Marco Rubio's ears for longer than you've been involved in politics. But this is an interesting video, and the ears are the least interesting part of it. I'm sorry that you guys are so easily distracted from the point. Hegseth never sounds nervous despite being easily replaceable. I think Hegseth might not be as replaceable. He's more of a loyalist. He's probably more interpersonally charismatic to Trump than Marco Rubio is. He's more of a kiss-ass, at least. And also, he's a religious freak. Makes me think there might be too much blowback from the Christian evangelical types if Hegseth gets removed. They don't care if Marco Rubio gets removed. But, you know, to a lot of the Marco Rubios, he's like a neocon holdover. But Hegseth is a true believer, you know, proper crusader type, so... What a weird... Trump set to claim victory in Iran at primetime address. Everyone's got their own pitch on what this address is going to be. Probably going to be a lot of things, or maybe nothing at all. The president has telegraphed that message in interviews, social media posts, and public comments over the past 24 hours, laying the groundwork for a speech that is expected to claim that all military objectives have been met, according to 6 people familiar with the planning and granting anonymity to speak candidly. He also intends to harshly scapegoat NATO allies for the biggest unresolved matter in the war, Iran's ongoing restrictions of shipping trade. So, what? So he's just thinking of backing out? Is it like, mission accomplished, we're out, we're done? It's either that or troops in the ground, right? That or troops in the ground. Maybe both. When will the address be? 9 minutes. There's leaks. Trump wants out of NATO. He's wanted out of NATO for a while. I don't know. It does seem like two things are kind of crashing together here. There's two incompatible goals. On one hand, Trump wants to wipe his hands clean of the situation and walk away. And on the other hand, it feels like there's going to be a ground invasion. I don't really know how to reconcile those two. Maybe it's going to be both. Trump's going to say, we're done, and then we're going to invade. I don't know. I mean, they're not rational, you know? Want to make us look weak if we put all our equipment in the Middle East and don't use it? Yeah, it'll make us look pretty weak if we send like 10,000 Marines down to the Gulf or near it, and then the whole time Iran continues to control the strait and nothing changes. He might use this speech to pump it up the market again. I don't think he can do that for this. I don't think he can. Like, it might lead to market manipulation, but this is such a huge step. It's not a fucking Truth Social post, you know? It's a presidential address. It's an all broadcast TV presidential address. Like, will it manipulate the markets? Yes. Will people take advantage? Yes. But I don't think this is for that. I don't know. Who knows? It might be really funny. Earlier today, Trump was dropping some major truth nukes.
Fans, frankly, evangelicals and Christians, just Christians, I think they like Israel more than Jewish people like Israel, if you want to know the truth. It's really true. I get so many coming up, and I don't know when that started. It did start not thousands of years ago.
Appreciate him confirming that.
So I can tell you it started, but the love for Israel is great. You wouldn't have fans.
Literally can't lie anymore. That's why I say he can't lie. He's not capable. You're not supposed to acknowledge that. You're not supposed to acknowledge that Israel is by and large a Christian Zionist project and not a Jewish one. Or the fact that Christian evangelicals are more pro-Israel than Jews are. That is true, by the way. Least anti-Semitic man. Well, technically, this wasn't anti-Semitic. It's literally what he's saying here is true. Zionism is a fascist project that is now pushed more by evangelicals than Jews. 100%. It's good that this be acknowledged. Is Trump a Zionist? Probably not. He doesn't really seem to care. Did you get a haircut? Yes, I cut my own hair the other day. Looks good. I know, thanks. The Madman? I might go to a stylist still. Paula White's comparing Trump to Jesus again.
On. But as I prayed, it was like the Holy Spirit just zoned me in and said, tell President Trump how thankful you are for him. And I think I felt like I was conveying the heart of God for all of us, that we are thankful for the greatest champion of faith that we've ever seen in a president. And we honor you because of your bold, unwavering conviction.
It is crazy how often Protestants speak for God. You know? If you ask a Catholic priest what God wants, he'll be like, I mean, we think he probably wants you to do like good stuff, I'm guessing. I would assume. No, say 5 Hail Marys. If you ask a Protestant minister what God wants, he'll fucking, God will be there talking directly through him, you know? Very arrogant.
And stand for religious liberty here in America and around the world. And you recognize the power and the name of Jesus Christ. I remember when we told our first
White House event, by the way.
Briefing, you can now pray again and worship again. They begin to shout and praise and say, thank you, Lord, and sing in their highest ways for your unwavering recognition that the strength of a nation is through Almighty God. And you have not backed away from any of this. Thank you for allowing me to serve you, to serve people of faith, and to serve the American people. I've heard many people take credit for you being here, or for some of your victories, and for being in the sacred office of the president. But the truth of it is you are here because of God and because of you.
Chances this lady's a true believer or a grifter. All Protestant leaders are grifters, with 0 exceptions. I mean that sincerely, but especially her, but like also all of them.
And I just wanted to share this thought and pray over President Trump. Jesus taught us so many lessons through his death, burial, and resurrection. He showed us great leadership, great transformation requires great sacrifice. And Mr. President, no one has paid the price like you have paid the price. It almost cost you your life. You were betrayed and arrested and falsely accused.
Like Jesus Christ.
It's a familiar pattern that our Lord and Savior showed us.
Yep.
But it didn't end there for him, and it didn't end there for you. God always had a plan. On the 3rd day, he rose.
Oh, Jesus, a pedophile. Jesus was a... In the Epstein files, Trump was proven to have had a close confidants of many a powerful Jew, much like Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
Defeated evil. He conquered death, hell, and the grave. And because he rose, we all know that we can rise. And, sir, because of his resurrection, you rose up. Because he was victorious, you were victorious. And I believe that the Lord said to tell you this. Because of his victory, you will be victorious in all you put your hand to.
We all need to get so much more Reddit atheist right now. All right, no more delaying. She also said saying no to Trump is saying no to God, typical Protestant blasphemy. We shouldn't even call them Christians, dude. I'm legitimately gonna stop calling Protestants, at the very least, evangelicals Christians. I'm just gonna just refer to them as evangelicals or something. They're fucking heretics, dude. They're blasphemers. They would absolutely have been at the very least excommunicated from the church in fucking 1402. Do you think evangelicals are as bad as Mormons? Evangelicals are objectively significantly worse than Mormons by every measurable sense. And the only reason Mormons get treated like the outcasts and evangelicals don't is because evangelicals control our government. That's the only reason. I mean, Mormons are super overrepresented in three-letter agencies. That's because Mormon men are the only ones left who know how to tie a tie. Pretty easy to see why Trump's a lunatic when people talk to him like that. Yep. Yeah, like his brain was already soup and he's already old. Can you imagine what's that tweet? I can't imagine what it's like being a billionaire. You can walk into any room and just say, I want to buy a different room, like rearrange all the furniture, buy everything new. It must be like the cognitive equivalent to being kicked in the head by a donkey every day. I see people saying this is going to be about troops on the ground. I see people saying it's going to be about we're pulling out of Iran because we've completed all of our objectives. I have no fucking idea what we're doing here. I don't know. Maybe he's going to be like, we've completed... Oh, well, let's find out. Why, you know... We're sticking with this stream, so don't tell me another stream's 2 seconds faster because I don't care.
Thank you very much. My fellow Americans, good evening. Let me begin by congratulating the team at NASA and our brave astronauts on the successful launch of Artemis 2. It was quite something. It will be traveling further than any manned rocket has ever flown and will very substantially pass the moon, go around it, and come back home from a distance that has never been done before. It's amazing. They are on the way, and God bless them. These are brave people. We want to God bless those 4 unbelievable astronauts. As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury, targeting the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, Iran. In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have ever seen before. Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them terrorist regime they led, are now dead. Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them left. Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks. Our enemies are losing in America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before. Before discussing this current situation, I also want to thank our troops for the masterful job they did in taking the country of Venezuela in a matter of minutes. That hit was quick, lethal, violent, and respected by everyone all over the world. After rebuilding our military during my first term, we have by far the strongest military anywhere in the world. And now we're working along with Venezuela and are, in a true sense, joint venture partners. We're getting along incredibly well in the production and sale of massive amounts of oil and gas, the second largest reserves on Earth after the United States of America. We're now totally independent of the Middle East, and yet we are there to help. We don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies. Tonight, I want to provide an update on the tremendous progress our warriors have made in Iran and discuss why Operation Epic Fury is necessary for the safety of America and the security of the free world.
Is necessary.
From the very first day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I have vowed that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This fanatical regime has been chanting death to America, death to Israel for 47 years. Their proxies were behind the murder of 241 Americans in the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut, the slaughter of hundreds of our service members with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack on the USS Cole, and they carried out the countless other heinous acts, including the just horrible, bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel, something that most people have never seen anything like it. This murderous regime also recently killed 45,000 of their own people.
Well, the number
who
keeps
were
getting higher.
protesting
Holy
in
shit,
Iran.
45,000?
45,000 dead. For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield. I will never let that happen, and neither should any of our past presidents. This situation has been going on for 47 years. And
it doesn't sound like he's backing out of the conflict, by the way.
Long before I arrived in office, I did many things during my 2 terms in office to stop the quest for nuclear weapons by Iran first. And perhaps most importantly, I killed General Qasem Soleimani in my first term. He was an evil genius, brilliant person, a horrible human being, however, the father of the roadside bomb. And he lived just horrible what he did. Iran would have been perhaps in far better, stronger position. Had he lived, we would have had probably a different conversation tonight. But you know what? We'd still be winning and winning big. And then, very importantly, I terminated Barack Hussein Obama's Iran nuclear deal, a disaster. Obama gave them $1.7 billion in cash, green cash. Took it out of banks.
Trump has given them many
Virginia,
times
DC,
that by reducing the sanctions and allowing them to
Maryland,
sell
all
oil.
the cash they had. He flew it by airplanes in an attempt to buy their respect and loyalty, but it didn't work. They laughed at our president and went on with their mission to have a nuclear bomb. His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran. And they would have had them years ago, and they would have used them. It would have been a different world. There would have been no Middle East and no Israel
Oil
right now,
spiking
in my
again right
opinion,
now?
the opinion of a lot of great experts. Had I not terminated
I
that
don't know if
terrible
that's
deal,
true.
and I was so honored to do it. I was so proud to do it. It was so bad right from the beginning. Essentially, I did what no other president was willing to do. They made mistakes, and I am correcting them. My first preference was always the path of diplomacy, yet the regime continued their relentless quest for nuclear weapons and rejected every attempt at an agreement.
We bombed them
For this reason,
mid-negotiations
in
2
June,
times in
I
a row.
ordered a strike on
Also,
Iran's
we
key
broke the
nuclear
nuclear deal,
facilities, an
the JCPOA.
Operation Midnight Hammer. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Those beautiful B-2 bombers performed magnificently. We totally obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then sought to rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons. They were also rapidly building a vast stockpile of conventional ballistic missiles and would soon have had missiles that could reach the American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on Earth. Iran's strategy was so obvious. They wanted to produce as many missiles as possible, and they did, with the longest range possible. And they had some weapons that nobody believed they had. We just learned that out. We took them out. We took them all out so that no one would really dare stop them. And their race for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody's ever seen before. They were right at the doorstep. For years, everyone has said that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons, but in the end, those are just words if you're not willing to take action when the time comes. As I stated in my announcement of Operation Epic Fury, our objectives are very simple and clear. We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America
we're not backing
project
out.
Power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed. hurting their Air Force and their missile program at levels never seen before, and annihilating their defense industrial base. We've done all of it. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their missiles are just about used up or beaten. Taken together, these actions will cripple Iran military, crush their ability to support terrorist proxies, and deny them the ability to build a nuclear bomb. Our armed forces have been extraordinary. There's never been anything like it
This could have been an
militarily.
email.
Everyone
We'll
is
see.
talking
We'll
about
see if
it,
something
and tonight
happens.
I'm pleased to say that these core strategic objectives are nearing completion. As we celebrate this progress, we think especially of the 13 American warriors who have laid down their lives in this fight to prevent our children from ever having to face a nuclear Iran. Twice this past month, I have traveled to Dover Air Force Base, and it's been something. I wanted to be with those heroes as they return to American soil, and I was with them and their families, their parents, their wives, their husbands. We salute them, and now we must honor them by completing the mission for which they gave their lives. And every single one of the people,
What?
their loved ones said, "Please, sir, please finish the job." Every one of them.
Every
And we are
parent
going to
of the
finish
dead
job, but
soldiers
we're gonna
lined
finish it
up,
very
and they said,
fast. We're getting
please.
very close. I want to thank
Oh,
our allies in the
man.
Middle East, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, and Bahrain. They've been great, and we will not let them get hurt or fail in any way, shape, or form. Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home.
Uh-huh.
This short-term increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers in neighboring countries that have nothing to do with the conflict.
No one could have foreseen
This
this.
is
Yeah.
yet more proof that Iran can never be trusted with nuclear weapons. They
Uh-huh.
will use them, and they will use them quickly. It would lead to decades of extortion, economic pain, and instability worse than we can ever imagine. The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that. We built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country. I hate to say that, but we were a dead and crippled country after the last administration and made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far, with no inflation, record-setting investments coming into the United States, over $18 trillion, and the highest stock market ever, with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year. It all positioned us to get rid of a cancer that has long simmered. It's known as the nuclear Iran, and they didn't know what was coming. They've never imagined it. Remember, because of our Drill Baby Drill program, America has plenty of gas. We have so much gas. Under my leadership, we are #1 producer of oil and gas on the planet, without even discussing the millions of barrels that we're getting from Venezuela. Because of the Trump administration's policies, we produce more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Think of that, Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. And that number will soon be substantially higher than that. There's no country like us anywhere in the world, and we're in great shape for the future. The United States imports almost no oil
Parents
through
of
the
fallen soldiers
Hormuz
say it's a
Strait,
lie about finishing the job. Yeah,
and
of
won't
course.
be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. We've beaten and completely decimated Iran. They are decimated, both militarily and economically and in every other way. And the countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can do it easily. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on. So to
Their
those
problem now?
countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. #1, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And number two, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with
this
us.
was
as we
this
asked.
could have been a Truth Social
Go to the
post, Mr.
straight
President.
and just
You already said
take
this.
it, protect it, use it for yourselves. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done, so it should be easy. And in any event, when this conflict is over, the strait will open up naturally. It'll just open up naturally. They're going to want to be able to sell oil because that's all they have to try and rebuild. It will resume the flowing, and the gas prices will rapidly come back down. Stock prices will rapidly go back up. They haven't come down very much, frankly. They came
They're down
down a little bit,
10%
but they've
across
had
the
some
market
very
since
good
the Iran
days
war.
over the last couple of days. We've done
Well,
actually
since
much
a little bit
better than
before
I
the Iran
thought.
war.
But we had to take that little journey to Iran to get rid of this horrible threat. With our historic tax cuts, where people are just now talking about receiving larger refunds than they ever thought possible. They are getting so much more money than they thought. That's from the great big beautiful bill. Our economy is strong and improving by the day, and it will soon be roaring back like never before. It will top the levels that it was a month ago. I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly.
Yeah?
We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable.
The new group is more radical than the last group?
No deal is made. We have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously. We have not hit their oil, even though that's the easiest target of all, because it would not give them even a small chance of survival or rebuilding. But we could hit it, and it would be gone, and there's not a thing they could do about it. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. We are unstoppable as a military force. The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust, and we have it under intense satellite surveillance and control. If we see them make a move, even a move for it, we'll hit them with missiles very hard again. We have all the cards, they have none. It's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year.
What?
7 months and 5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days.
Okay.
The Korean War lasted for
facts.
3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days. Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation so powerful, so brilliant, against one of the most powerful countries for 32 days. And the country has been eviscerated.
What was that delivery?
And essentially is really no longer a threat. They were the bully of the Middle East, but they're the bully no longer. This is a true investment in your children and your grandchildren's future. The whole world is watching, and they can't leave the power, strength, and brilliance. They just can't believe what they're seeing. They leave it to your imagination, but they can't believe what they're seeing, the brilliance of the United States military. Tonight, every American can look forward to a day when we are finally free from the wickedness of Iranian aggression and the specter of nuclear blackmail. Because of the actions we have taken, we are on the cusp of ending Iran's sinister threat to America and the world. And I'll tell you, the world is watching. And when we do, when it's all over, the United States will be safer, stronger, more prosperous, and greater than it has ever been before. May God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much and good night.
Okay, so he did both. He said mission accomplished, and I think he's also saying we're sending troops in. Yeah. What the fuck was that? Very telling, actually. This was surprisingly telling. So obviously this was rushed out. A lot of the speech was literally just cribbed from his Truth Social posts. What this seems to me as is a way of attempting to pitch a ground invasion as de-escalatory. We're done. We're already winning. We're wrapping things up, you know. But he didn't mention it because I don't think there's a way to mention it that would sound good to the American people. You know, he's trying to signal confidence ahead of it. That way it doesn't sound like he doesn't want the boots on the ground to be framed as like a desperate escalation we're ceding, but rather as like oh yeah, he's just mopping things up over there. There has been some inside reporting, yeah, that he might be planning to send troops on the ground to extract the uranium from their bombed nuclear facilities, which is insane. You know, you would have to invade and then extract, you would have to like do a dig site, basically. He didn't talk about winding down at all. Nowhere in that speech was there a, like, we're ending this. He said 2 or 3 weeks more, but the initial timeline was like a couple of days. So that's not, he's estimating how much time he needs, but he's not saying we're on our way out. He did not threaten to leave NATO, at least. When are we just going to stop tuning in? I don't know. How many people are watching right now? 20,000? I think I'm going to keep tuning in to massive presidential addresses about war that it's crippling the global economy. I think I'm going to keep it up, actually. No, I think I think this was very telling. It was telling in the same way that Marco Rubio's weird, panicked speech was earlier this morning. The fact that it was ill-prepared and did a bad job communicating tells you something, you know? Because the difference is that, like, George Bush's mission accomplished was more planned out. No, Steve A., I don't think that Trump is doing subtle preempting. What I do think is that this war is completely and utterly out of his control at this point, and he's just trying to signal confidence. That's it. But if we were about to leave, he would say we're about to leave. You know? They have no way of ending this. They have no plan. They have no out plan. They thought this would buy time and public sentiment falling, yes? Probably, yeah. You can see when Trump started talking Lamau. Fuck, that's so funny. The futures market. Oh my god. We're in it for the long haul. He hijacked everything to broadcast nothing. I wonder how much this was his idea, specifically. The last time he did this, it was his idea. Remember the last time he did that weird impromptu press conference ahead of the Epstein files? It was basically just him doing Truth Social bits. Like there was no real info being delivered. I feel like whenever these happen, it's just because he insisted on it. Did he say he was leaving Hormuz to figure itself out? Well, he threatened to. He's done that before. He does this when he's worried about approval? I don't think he worries about approval. Hello, River. He already thinks every single American likes him. Is the ground operation going to happen soon then? I don't know. I can't see the future. Probably. He reportedly gets mad at the polling he sees. Well, they try not to let him see that polling, if they can help it. Yeah, I can see the futures market jumping. From 98 up to 101 in like 1 second. Dude, River's losing her mind. Saturday it's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know if they're ready to do the amphibious invasion this weekend. I'd be very surprised if they did it this weekend. Maybe. Maybe, man. I don't know. I don't know. This weekend. It's a long weekend. That is true. River, you having fun losing your damn mind? Did you buy oil futures? Are you excited? You didn't try to short the market, did you? Oh no. River lost $20,000 in a attempted short. Oh no. We want to see River. If I got up right now, I would not be able to catch her. One hour ago, we striked ports near the strait. Doesn't really have anything to do with our potential invasion, but... Would this admin being dumb really surprise you? You know what wouldn't surprise me? Chat asking me dumb rhetorical questions. Tonight it's full moon. I'd expect the amphibious assault in 2 weeks during the new moon. Okay, I'm going to be real with you. There is no fucking way our incredibly stupid and impatient leadership would ever, like, delay by weeks a politically motivated invasion just to, like, slightly decrease their visibility in conventional eyesight. There's just no way. There's no way. They do sometimes. They're not doing it this time. I guarantee you they're not. Losing her damn mind. This isn't the Middle Ages. I mean, it's still good to do that. I just don't think they're going to do it. What do you... Wonder if she sees like a moth or something. River, you're tweaking. Yeah, I couldn't catch her. I couldn't catch her. Bet money they went in during the speech. As in, you did bet that money? I don't think so. Or at least if that's happened, I haven't heard about it. Check oil again. Lamau ain't stopping. Oh no. Oh my god, you're right. Holy shit. This was enough to jump fucking futures up by $5. That's crazy. All these retard day traders were like, oh, you know, Trump's probably going to announce that the war is winding down. Jesus Christ, these people. Swear to God. Refresh it, it's not slowing. Yeah, I can see the number. That's $3, idiot. From here. This site has live numbers. So does this one. We're looking at the live numbers. Yeesh. This is post-market speculation. Yeah, well, it's futures. Yeah, I mean, it's not the actual market, but, you know. 103. Yippee. Google is 10 minutes delayed. Are you sure? Because this one right here is following the Google price. Dude, whatever. It doesn't matter. We don't need to follow this shit minute to minute. FYI, Friday is Good Friday. On this holy Christian administration, they might use this date as some kind of holistic shit doomsday. Yeah, maybe. Check the S&P futures. Oh my god. Oh man, that... Our president, huh? It's so sharp. Jesus Christ. We need like a little tab next to Vosh that shows us the current oil price. Having like a little CNBC ticker that pops up every once in a while, like the big line down, you know, that would be pretty funny. What do these numbers mean? These numbers mean that people were betting on Trump winding down the war, and he's not. Hello, River. We done scooching? What are you screaming about? Honestly, these cats are crazy. Me, who just started investing in the market, saving for a house. Man, no hate, but what made you think 1 year into the Trump 2 presidency was a good time to get into investing in the market? I mean, again, you're the victim here, but this is a difficult time. It's a good time, actually. Well, it will be if you buy the dip. If you buy the dip, yeah. Oh, it's still going down. Oh, don't worry. We're saved, guys. Futures went down. Back to 102. America's saved. All right. Anyway. To not ramble too much. Yeah, I feel like this is just complete floundering. Trump has no idea what to do or say. He has no plan to extricate us from this conflict. It's only going to get worse with time. It's already quite bad. It's going to get worse from there. Iran seems to have no interest in dialing back the conflict, and they're the ones who decide whether or not the strait opens. So that speech was a nothing burger like everything else. The speech told us something by being a nothing burger. You can get information from non-information, you know? But yes, it was mostly a nothing burger. Let me send that off to the editors. That should probably go out quickly, you know? What's a good title for that, do you think? Sending segment the oil prices spike after deranged Trump broadcast or some such thing or another. Yippee. Yippee! I'm not going to bank on us sending in troops until we actually do it. Until then, who knows? I can't read the future. All right, what do we have here in the bucket? In the bucket. Well, that's a lot of text. River's meeping.
Get closer to the primaries, though, I mean, we are going to see these things coming out of like just people, you endorsing people or you being with people trying to use things that you've said and done. So we do have to talk about that while I have you on, right? Because you've been accused of calling Orthodox Jews inbred, comparing Zionists to neo-Nazis, dismissing reports of sexual violence on October 7th, saying, I believe the quote, and
say it, don't spray it. How do you feel about Phil DeFranco? He's cool, isn't he? I mean, I know he's like an internet legend, but in addition to that, he seems like a cool guy, you know? He's not like a hyper communist or whatever, but he's cool, I think.
Once again, it could be a clip, so we'll get to that. It doesn't matter if it happened on October 7th. It doesn't change the dynamic of me and posting that Hamas is 1,000 times better than Israel. Which of those things would you say you stand by? Which of those things would you say
definitely the inbred stuff
you regret? And which of those things do you think are being misrepresented?
I think the ones that are being misrepresented pretty egregiously are like the it doesn't matter if happened on October 7 or not, because that was actually an argument that I was having fairly early on with a chatter who was denying sexual violence or the likelihood of sexual violence.
This is true, by the way. This is an actual clip chimp. The statement that Hassan made is not only factually correct but utterly unobjectionable. It's just the phrasing. It's the clipping of the statement that's meant to make it sound bad when it's not.
Was happening. I was telling him that this actually doesn't change the dynamic of genocide. Like, this doesn't justify genocide at all. But that one has been misrepresented pretty egregiously. As far as the inbred comments goes, there's like a massive compilation of this out there of me like calling any kind of like ethno-religious, racial supremacist an inbred, because a lot of these ideologies do revolve around genetic purity. But the idea that it's like directed at Orthodox Jews is ridiculous. It was specifically talking about, like, you know, settlers and settlers destroying aid and things of that nature. But I do understand that it can come across as insensitive. But so I will, as I told Politico, I believe, or the New York Times, you know, I'll try to be a little bit more careful with my language there. As far as the differences between Hamas and Israel, I mean, that I do stand by. I don't have an issue when people point to that to say, how could you say such a thing? Because
actually, Jews are pretty right. The Orthodox Jews having problems with like insular communities and only breeding within those communities is like a known problem. It's not really like arguable. That is true. Yeah. I mean, and it is true that a lot of those Orthodox Jews do insist on maintaining blood purity, like racial / ethnic / religious purity, which I think is a little creepy and weird. Sorry, it's my liberal streak, but I believe in, like, you know, equal rights and stuff, I guess. I don't know. I guess I'm pro miscegenation.
Because my counter always is, okay, well then argue against it. Explain to me why Hamas is a larger danger to the world, or a larger danger to the Palestinians, or a larger danger to Israelis than Israel is, because Israel has committed a genocide. I think that it comes across as like a statement that is out there, because it's not one that
third way really miscalculated by trying to, like, third way, like Jake Tapper, all those freaks, really miscalculated by trying to like drive a wedge here, because the unfortunate reality they're going to come across is that the average Democratic voter is going to agree with Hassan's framing on a lot of these issues. Normally, what you're supposed to do if you want to make an example of someone or of an idea is tie them to somebody who's reprehensible, right? Like somebody whose ideas are indefensible. But I mean, in this case, they're going after Hassan for stuff that's like pretty easy to defend. Yeah. You're supposed to go after me, is the thing, not him. Third Way sent Abdul Al-Sayed a questionnaire asking if he can have these statements. Yeah. This is genuinely the most like pathetic debate bro thing that I've ever seen. They sent a Senate candidate a questionnaire letter asking him to specifically denounce all of these out of context statements by Hassan. It's so pathetic. Oh, you're going to accept an endorsement from Hassan? Here's everything we've clip chimped ever. Can you say, like, this would be considered pathetic even in streamer beefs, even in the context of streamer drama. Like, I want you to, it's so new levels of muling wimp. Yeah, I just can't imagine, even if you had a point, you know what I mean? Like, imagine if there was I'm trying to think of like what a comparison, okay? Like, let's try to flip the script on this a little bit. Imagine that there was a Senate or House candidate that Destiny canvassed for, like Destiny's Community or whatever, which he's done before, you know? And then I was like, I don't like that. So I was like, excuse me, Mr. Representative to be, if that is your real name. Here are 87 clips of Destiny saying something objectionable. Now we're going to play through everyone. Like, it would come across as fucking deranged. And I'm saying that that's from my perspective, where I like me and don't like Destiny. So like, it's crazy. It's desperate from the Third Way group, and it's not going to work out the way they want it to. I think they're actually making it more likely Abdul wins, but maybe he won't. You know, I don't know. It's possible that he doesn't. I think they're increasing his odds. You owe it to Michigan voters to answer these questions above and put real distance between yourself and Hassan Piker's hateful views. We hope you do the right thing. Incredible. They're terrified of him, man. Terrified. They tried this with Mamdani too. Well, the crazy thing is, they tried a lighter version of it with Mamdani. Like, it didn't work with Mamdani. And in that case, it was mostly just the 9/11 thing. So Third Way saw this unsuccessful tactic, and they were like, you know what we should do? Fucking quadruple down on it. Let's do it, but more annoying. Let's actually make this a more defining feature of our anti-Abdul al-Sayed candidacy or campaign than Cuomo did in his run against Mamdani. They were proud of this. The Third Way campaign, they posted this. It got 22 likes and 36 comments on Twitter. But we have to take Third Way seriously because they're backed by a bunch of Zionist billionaires. No one likes them, no one cares, no one voted for them, not a single human alive gives a shit about them, but we have to take them seriously because billionaires give them money. What do they mean when they say reject the pledge? What do you mean? Reject that was... Oh, to what are you referring? Oh, you mean this one right here? The Third Way in the past said that the Democratic Party needs to abandon litmus tests, but because they're hypocritical piece of shit corporate Zionist deep state fucks, they don't actually believe in anything. So they said, we should abandon litmus tests, like requiring politicians to not think it's good to do genocide. But now they're like, this is the most litmus testy anyone has ever been ever. Is there a reason you and Hassan don't interact? Yeah, one time we were walking past each other at TwitchCon, and I shoulder checked him, and he stumbled, and he looked like a bitch. He was super embarrassed about it. Everyone could tell because his Twitch live feed, his like live stream camera, it like shuddered, you know? But ever since then, it's been like, it's, and I understand it, you know? Yeah, I get it. I believe that without question. I choose to believe this, yeah? I've never been to TwitchCon. It's true, though. It did happen at TwitchCon. I think he's mad your head's bigger. I'm mad that his head's smaller. So, you know, proportionally makes him look like a cartoon character. Not in a bad way, you know. Isn't he much larger than you in height and muscles? No. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's true. That sounds fake to me. Yeah, Hassan's 6'4", whereas I'm 74 inches tall. That was a lot of text. Okay. This one's too good not to bring up. This one's generational. The MAGA movement is so fucking dead, dog. Have you tried peptides? Can I be real with you? I think drinking coffee is good and all, but if you get too deep in the weeds on self-improvement, I actually think it makes you a fucking loser, and you are actually making yourself worse for it. It would be like, if you want to get better at basketball, work on your game. Don't work on buying better shoes. Better shoes might help, but the problem is your game, not the shoes. If you're having problem in your day-to-day life and it's like, oh, I don't have enough fucking peptides, no, that's not your problem, okay? And your insistence in trying to find a way to biohack your way into being more functional is genuinely pathetic. I get it, you know, eat right, exercise, whatever, that's all fine. But like, buying illicit, illegal amino acids from China that are not legal for sale in the United States so that you can chase a trend of like maybe being able to manage your ADHD better. It's crazy. Pathetic, really. Anyway, more importantly,
don't send any money for daycare because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it, too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up, but it's not possible for us to take care of daycare. Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things. They can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing, military protection. We have to guard the country. But all these little things, all these little scales.
I love it. I love it so goddamn much. Medicaid, Medicare, we have no money for that. We have to spend our money on war. Lefties have been saying this for a long time. Again, you know, with Trump pointing out that evangelical Christians like Israel more than Jews do. I appreciate him being so straightforward and forthcoming about it, you know? God, I have priorities out there. No, I appreciate him acknowledging it. You know? The Dow was down 0.7% during the last hour already. It's fucking funny.
Scams that have taken place, you have to let states take care of them, Russell, and you have to do it.
The federal government's becoming irrelevant much faster than I thought. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We really are going to break apart into a bunch of like disharmonious fucking city-states pretty soon, it feels like. The federal government over the course of the past 80 years has shifted from a mountain-moving, machine made animus, human thought and will turned into progress, highways and roads, medical marvels and machinery, and it's turned into like a dickless tax avoidant fucking like wealth transfer scheme to the wealthy. The federal government does nothing now except begrudgingly meet its obligations, deficit spend, and transfer more money to the wealthy, and that's it. It's like it's the only thing they're interested in doing. It's not like state governments are doing anything, you know? It's not like the average state government has the ability. You can't do it. At a state level, you can't really do it, you know? As a state, you just don't have the authority that the national government has. Greater Cascadia? I don't think so. State is in a worst of both worlds between city and fed? Yeah, maybe. You think we're ever making it out of this? Yeah, of course we will. One day we'll die. What do you mean? Do Republicans want America to balkanize? Serious question. To modern capitalists, the nation is irrelevant because they can move across borders. If you're a billionaire, you can move between countries effortlessly. There's nothing, you can go anywhere you want. You never have to worry about your rights or your ability to travel freely. The nation is irrelevant because the way you make your money is by manipulating a global financialization scheme, right? You know, you don't have to produce anything. You don't have to make anything. So I don't think they care about the nation. I think they care about the markets. I think they care about where the money goes in like a very abstract sense, which dollar, you know, which currency to invest in, to pay attention to the markets of. And apart from that, they don't really care. So like the breakup of the United States wouldn't really mean much. I imagine to the average American oligarch, it would just mean it would be easier to fuck children. You know, a significant number of the children that Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell trafficked were children taken from the post-Soviet Union states, right? Russia, you know, Poland, Ukraine, because when the Soviet Union broke apart, a lot of people went missing in the middle. You know, there was a period of tumultuous upheaval where a lot of people just went missing. A lot of them were abducted or bribed, you know, whatever. You know, here's $1,000 for like a job in America, and the job is getting fucked by Trump as a 12-year-old. But if America fell apart in the same way, they'd just get to do that more, right? And then they wouldn't have to, go to a different country. They could just do it from here. It sounds grim, but this is how the world works for them. If you want to know how they think of the world, think of Russian oligarchs, think of Saudi Emiratis, think of the UAE, think of Qatar, think of countries where the leadership is impossibly wealthy but has no cultural connection to its people. Like, the democracy is either non-existent or a pale facade, right? It's representational but not effective. Think of those countries. Hungary, yeah, to the leadership in these countries, their territory is just an open field of wealth and potential rape, and that's all they really care about. Pedophilia is being normalized here. Don't worry about it. Normalizing pedophilia has been the unambiguous cultural goal of the right for decades. Like, it's not even arguable. From the top to the bottom, normalizing pedophilia and rape by just flat out ignoring the concept of consent, like they don't know or care about it at all, has been a right-wing project. Absolutely, 100%. Is bad thing bad? Bad things might be bad, in my opinion. If we did balkanize, the red states would immediately go to shit. Yes. Well, anyway. This is why we can't have healthcare. Yippee. Wonder if these oligarchs will ever face any justice? Probably not. Did you see the Supreme Court hearing? It was so funny. Yeah, it seems like Trump's not happy with how it went. For the first time in American history, a president sat in during a Supreme Court hearing. So that's cool. It's about ending birthright citizenship. That's what he sat in on. He left pretty mad, and it seems like the justices were not convinced by his argument. Well, not all of them. So I don't think it's going to go the way he wants it to. Do you think it would be interesting for you to make a possible map of the U.S. post-Balkanization? No, that's alternate history slop. I don't care about that. I don't like making speculations about the future. I'm only interested in the currents of historical materialism as I see them and the direction I think they're leading us in. The specifics like that seem to me like world building. There's a clip of the Solicitor General saying it's a brave new world, and Robert saying, yeah, and it's the same Constitution. Yeah. I saw this clip.
Do you think Native Americans today are birthright citizens under your test and under your friend's test?
I think so. I mean, obviously, they've been granted citizenship by statute.
Put aside the statute. Do you think they're birthright citizens?
No, I think the clear understanding that everybody agrees in the congressional debates is that the children of tribal Indians are not birthright citizens.
I understand that's what they said. But your test is the domicile of the parents. And that would be the test you'd have us apply today, right?
Yes, yes. So if a tribal Indian, for example, gives up allegiance to...
Born today, birthright citizens.
I think so on our test, yeah, if they're lawfully domiciled here.
Okay,
I,
and then-
I'm not sure, I have to think that through, but that's my reaction.
I'll take the yes. That's all right.
Christ. Stupid fucking. Hadn't thought that out? What is this, what is this drama bit? What am I seeing on my subreddit? Abdul El-Sayed, security chief, resigns, says candidate is unfit for Senate. Anti-Semitism is now hidden behind calculated rhetoric. The member of staff that leaked the recording of Abdul is a Destiny and Voshvan Lamau. Oh my god, Capans, your people. Well, so wait, a member of Abdul El-Sayed's campaign left and accused him of anti-Semitism? Wait, where? How is he a fan of mine? He mentioned you once in 2021? He being this guy? Okay. Seems fake. Why don't we like Destiny? I was walking past him at TwitchCon and I shoulder checked him. And ever since then, things haven't been the same. All right, what do we have here? Bad habit. Yeah, I really got to be more careful. Walking. Oil prices rise by over 3% following Trump's comments in Iran war. S&P 500 futures erased $500 billion in market cap in 25 minutes. As President Trump delivers his address to the nation on the Iran war. Very good, very good. Crude oil's back up to 103. Cool. I'm back. How was the speech? It was super informative. Super, super, super informative. You guys see Ethel Kane posted hog on Maine on Insta? That was crazy. Saw that shit on Twitter. She's so based. Yeah, iconic, really. It's 104 already? Brent 106? Sheesh. If we repeal birthright, what happens to all the stateless people that create? It wouldn't retroactively repeal birthright. It would only repeal birthright in the future. But it's not going to happen. At least I don't think so. It's probably not going to happen. People think Toby Fox is Hitler. Yeah, actually, hold on. I am curious about this one. I want some context to be provided. Can somebody explain this to me, please? Why are people mad at Toby Fox? Why are people mad at Toby Fox? I've been seeing so much discourse about this. Toby Fox confirmed that Undertale and Deltarune will not have translations into Spanish or Portuguese because he can't oversee a translation that fits his original vision. Not because of, quote, hatred towards those countries. That's funny. Twitter, Toby Fox. People were literally calling him a Zionist Israeli. That's what I mean about people using like Zionist or Israeli as a synonym for bad, by the way. It's exactly what I mean. Oh, is this is not Twitter, it's the other one. Bro doesn't care about his non-English fans. Can't they just learn English? It can't be that hard. I can't read all that. Free Palestine. He only speaks English and Japanese, and he wants to be able to personally oversee translations. I mean, it makes sense. He works in everything himself, right? But I just want to cede a whole bunch of narrative and creative control to somebody when he can't even double check to see if the translations are accurate. How much you can do with that? Hold on. Whoa. That's how every game's translated? Yeah, if you translate it. Dora Hedero Season 2 trailer. Hell yeah. My understanding is okay with the fan translations. Well, sure, people are going to do mods, aren't they? Ugh, I am tired. Well, it actually makes sense this time. I woke up early, ran around a bunch, had a busy day. Probably would have taken today off were it not for Trump's speech. And of course, Trump's speech was fucking stupid. Not a complete waste of time to listen to, but not exactly novel. Pitch me something good, chat. What do we got in our mind? I don't want to talk about the Supreme Court bit right now. I don't want to talk about Artemis 2. I don't care about Artemis 2. I'm just not in the mood for it right now. What do we have? What's going on? What's going on? Ethel Cain's hog's all I have in my mind, TBH. It's undignified to refer to a lady's hog as a hog, okay? Find a different synonym. Sewer socialism? I'm not sure if that's what sewer socialism means. New York, we got your back. We're upgrading 6,700 plus catch basin. Storm drains, a lot of manhole covers, so when it rains, no one can catch you slipping. God damn it, man. Fucking stupid ass. He knows what he's doing. Watch the Channel 5 clavicular interview. Does anything really, like, interesting happen in it? 1 hour long. I have not heard Clavicular say, in total, in his whole life, in stuff that I've seen, more than 5 minutes of interesting stuff. How are they going to fill an hour? Ending's funny? Okay, that's what people see a clip off the ending. They're like, yeah, watch the whole hour. Huh?
The word incel has been largely misused, so let's clarify what that actually is.
So you think that even if someone had every word of the Neil Strauss book, The Game, memorized, and they were like super busted?
Isn't he in trouble for shooting a crocodile right now? What's he up to? What's the current lore?
They could approach a Stacey and get totally
Blood hard, like brutalized almost. Like women are brutal as fuck these days. I was talking about this on my stream the other day. Say you were to do like a bowling date with a girl and you weren't streaming it, like that's just the most ridiculous.
What about like connecting with
what? What? Can you speak on that? Can you elaborate? I want to know more.
Because like you like her or something like that, you know, like maybe you want to start a family.
But where's the ROI in that?
What's that?
Return on investment. What's the value there? I mean,
in engaging with people in real life?
Yeah, I mean, there's really not that many people that are worth interacting with, I would say.
What do you mean?
Like, most people are extremely jester. If you want to be completely disingenuous.
By the way, he got exposed for paying his groupies, and they're all on Andrew Tate type abusive contracts where he takes the majority of what they earn. Yeah, oh yeah, that's like a tried and true classic for this type. Yeah, Tate did it as well. Both the Tates. I'm pretty sure the Fresh and Fit guys have been caught doing that as well. It's always the same thing. You pay hot women to stand around you. Or you like give them exposure by being adjacent to you. It's always like a, monetary exchange.
tenuous, that's fine with me. I guess there's just no point to continue.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Braden Peters, known online as Clavicular, Clav for short. A 20-year-old from Hoboken, New Jersey, currently living and trapping content out of a rented mansion in Fort Lauderdale, in Florida. The property has been converted to a 24/7, fully staffed live streaming studio for Clav.
God, it's just nightmarish. Just nightmarish to think about living like this, you know? It's like jesters entertaining the king by smashing their greasy cock and balls with a rock.
This particular brand of content, which focuses on partying and also helping young men, particularly in Gen Alpha and early Gen Z, look sexy as fuck and ascend by engaging in looks-maxing activities like facial surgery, limb lengthening, Botox, peptide use, and steroid injection, all with the goal of raising their SMV, sexual market value.
We are learning about looks maxing. That I don't know how much these jokers have to teach me, frankly.
In a way that will lead to more ascension and life success. Across mainstream platforms, he has over 1 million followers and over 170,000 recurring viewers on the live streaming platform Kick. I don't want to spoil it too much though. Let's get into the interview. All right, thanks so much for making the time, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, sorry.
How's it going?
You know,
How you
we're
doing, man?
getting started. How are you?
I'm good. So for those who don't know, can you tell us your name and kind of what you do?
I am Clavicular. I do live streaming. I hop on a variety of podcasts to talk about sort of my philosophy on why looks are arguably one of the most important things in terms of your success in life.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, what I basically mean is every single trait of yours is going to be perceived differently according to your looks level, right?
Do straight men even like women? I don't think Clavicular is straight. I know it's kind of hackneyed to go like, oh, all these weird incel types, they're actually gay. I think it's true for a lot of them. Yeah.
If you're super caged in and shy, but you're good looking, that will be perceived a lot different rather than if you were, you know, an acne-ridden, balding jester.
You've got acne scars
inside all day. People will call you a recluse. They'll call you weird, whatever. So even though the actions are the complete same, so that's what I'm talking about here.
And what's the exact equation for measuring like aesthetic value?
So there's a lot of different ratios that go into it to calculate someone's overall facial harmony score. So for example, that could be the width of your eyes relative to the width of your cheekbones, would be your eye separation ratio, or your
why is this whole pussy out like that? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I feel like it's circled from being masculine, like the masculine man spread, it's circled around to being like sultry and inviting. You know what I mean? Legs spread a little bit shows confidence. Legs spread a lot, that's just you spreading your legs, brother. Yeah, you're presenting.
Face ratio, for example, and then you're going to take all these measurements and calculate them into a final percentage harmony score.
And who has the highest score right now living?
I believe it's Matt Bomer.
What in particular about Matt's face gives him that high score?
It's not one particular thing because it's a calculation of a lot of different measurements.
Well, congrats on the big viewership and stuff like that.
Thank you.
It's kind of cool to see the mechanics of algorithmic takeover here.
I appreciate that.
I read less than a year ago you were a line cook.
That's right. Well, it was just one of my many roles at a restaurant I worked at.
What made you kind of want to jump into creating content?
I had already been kind of posting my looks maxing, you know, routine and the protocols I was doing.
He was more jacked back then. Back before he had to deal with all the burnout and scrutiny that fame provides. He was more jacked back then. And as a testament to the importance of a good fit, even when you're fit, look at how much these low-rise jeans accentuate his hips. Doesn't it give his hips kind of a feminine curve? If you were looking to masculinize your proportions, you would want to wear jeans with a higher rise.
For a good amount of time on TikTok, not really taking it too seriously, and I was posting on online forums. So I was sort of like a well-known name in a really small, tight-knit community. And then I kind of took it a little bit more serious because people were asking me, like, how do you do this? What was your experience like with this, peptide, whatever? And it started to get a lot of traction very early on. So I just continued with it, and we're here now.
So going back to like the early days, you were born in 2005, right?
That's right.
How would you describe your like childhood? Was it fun?
Pretty normal, I'd say.
Your social experience in school, though, how was that?
That's it? Just normal?
I mean, what age range are we talking about?
I guess like right around 13, 14 is what I'm thinking.
Well, that would have been during the pandemic, so I was in online school.
Oh, shit. How do you think that being in online school, like, transformed your experience during that time?
Well, obviously you're not interacting with anyone. So you're just like Ladaring.
But I mean, was that the time window that you sort of fell into the looks maxing community?
Around that time, actually, yeah.
What do you think?
When everyone's lonely, can't go out, can't talk to people. I don't know. I guess I find this stuff a lot less interesting. Now, I feel like it's already been kind of run through. You know what I mean? Like, it's all just a big open book psychologically. The fame is driven by the lol cow status, right? Like, everyone's just looking for Clav's big breakdown. People aren't like watching him for fucking self-help advice. They're watching him because he's like a weird niche celebrity of, with dubious future prospects and stability. Yeah, I don't know. The reason it's interesting is that he was raised on it. He's the next gen. Yeah, unlike the original batch of like red pill pickup artist types who grew up in a normal environment, but then like tried to get into it for their career or for their own idiosyncrasies, Clav is on the first wave of people who were immersed in this environment before they were even old enough to be grifters about it, right?
Right at the tail end of the pandemic, actually.
What do you think like initially appealed to you about it?
Well, it just seemed like when I first started lifting and then I got really into, pharmacology and steroid usage, I was like, this is like literally a video game cheat code is what it almost feels like. And it seemed like so ridiculous to try to play the game fair when I had access to all these things.
What was the first kind of thing that you tried out? Was
Test.
Test. How do you get that stuff?
No comment.
But it's technically illegal in the US, right? But other countries have like more lax regulations.
No, it's prescription only.
Okay. And how did that affect your like looks immediately? Like when you mix that with a bit of lifting?
I started to blow up quite quickly in terms of the amount of muscle mass I had, but I descended because I was lifting in a huge caloric surplus. So I turned into kind of like a blob sack. So, I mean, I definitely looks minned from taking tests and just bulking, but it wasn't the test. It was just like prioritizing physique and mass over.
Chicks love it when you got a bit of a gut, by the way. They're always telling you this. What do they tell you? Big forearms, big strong hands, big like sort of thick tree trunk torso. They love that shit.
Leanness and angularity.
And you were already creating content like right off the bat when you found this stuff, or did that come a bit later?
I actually sort of was around. I started kind of documenting a lot of what I was doing on forums, and actually have like a few YouTube videos like kind of going over my experience that people dug up from years prior about like various different cycles I had done. But yeah, so I've been doing content for a little while, but none of it was.
I think that's probably selection bias for you. It's really not. I promise you. I'm telling you. They keep showing his damn mirror picture or whatever, but like guys look like that for other guys. The only reason you as a man ever dropped to like 7% body fat is because you are a model or bodybuilder of some kind, or you're trying to impress other men, or for yourself. That's fine. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. It's just nothing to do with women, though. Has nothing to do with women.
Serious. I never intended to monetize it or have a career made out of it.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is not an advertisement, by the way, but did you hear that about a year ago, we bought back our old show, All Gas No...
All right, okay. We couldn't watch this whole thing anyway. Somebody said it ends funny. We'll look at the end. We'll look at the end. What's happened at the end? Bone smashing. Yeah.
That's a waste of time, and that you should prioritize looks maxing and aesthetic improvement. So I'm just trying to figure out like what the real goal is for improvement, because it kind of feels like a closed circle, you know?
Well, so you're maxing, and then you're putting into play any of the things we were talking about, like low end have maxing with pre-gab, for example, and going out and doing stuff like that. That just has a lower ROI if you haven't looks maxed. But you're gonna have a lack of success
once you reach like maximum mog levels, maximum.
To add to the point about women preferring it if you look a bit thick, I can tell that Clav is low body weight or body fat percentage here. But he also looks kind of skinny and emaciated to me because of the ratio between his shoulders and his arms. He has broad shoulders, right? But his arms are really thin. His arms here are probably thinner than my arms. And I mean, I don't really work out. I've just got, more fat on me, obviously, but it contributes to an overall build. It's not natural. I want to be clear, by the way. I'm not saying this in like a morally judgmental way. It's not natural to have like a perfectly defined six-pack. It can happen sometimes, but by and large, it's something that you have to specifically strive for. What I mean by isn't natural is that in the course of a human's normal life, being athletic or being physically active, oftentimes that's just not something that you achieve outside of some very specific sports, or like if you're trying to, target that directly. Nothing wrong with it. I think that people are often hot with abs. You just have to put a lot of effort into it. For runners, for sure. Yeah, like I think girls with abs are super duper hot, but like the normal process of living your life, even a healthy life as a woman, is not going to lead you to abs. You have to specifically work for that most of the time.
Like when you become a true 10 at that point,
then you get to do whatever you really feel is the path for you. And I couldn't tell you that, but whatever path that you decide, you're going to have a much easier time and you're going to be a lot better off. So yeah, that is a hard thing for me to try to conceptualize and give a recommendation on, because I think I'm a lot different than...
You can see 2 to 4 of my abs depending on how I've been eating Lamau. In my opinion, based on what I've experienced, if you want to get like crazy pussy, if you want to drown in it as a guy, what you should actually do are strong compound core workouts, because if you have a very strong core, your abs are muscles like everything else. You don't make them more apparent by starving yourself. They're muscles. You build them up. You do strong compound core exercises. And even if you have fat on you, the fat of your abs will look different from the fat of your hips, if that makes any sense. Like you've probably seen it before on like bulking bodybuilders, where you don't see the individual abs, but you still see like an ab plate, if that makes sense. So it's like you still have fat on you, but the abs themselves are leaving such a strong impression that the fat settles on them. And I think, at least based on my experience talking to and interacting with people attracted to men, that seems to be like a pretty solid winner. You know what I mean? People are into that. So if you're interested, so you can diet if you want. There's nothing wrong with dieting, but by and large, strong compound exercises, eat a good amount. As much as you feel you need to. Get your protein, get your fat, get your carbs. You need carbs. And do some cardio so your fucking lungs don't burn out on you. And you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Go for a nice walk. I said this the other day, and I mean it. If all you did was every day you alternated a compound core exercise, you did it till failure and that was it, you could get really far just with that. So like day 1, do squats, just body weight squats until you can't do them anymore, and then do a little more until you really can't do them anymore. And then the next day, do the same with push-ups. Then the next day, do the same with pull-ups or whatever equivalent you can do if you don't have a pull-up bar. And then the final day, do it with crunches. And if you can do it, then just cycle. And by the time you're back on the 5th day, you can do the squats again. If you just do that, we're talking like 4 minutes of your day. If you can just do that, you will see noticeable results. I'm just talking about a very basic, just saying, it's not that hard. People like Clavicular they're locals, so they're not really like merchants of a lifestyle, but what they're trying to sell you on is the idea that being self-actualized, being hot, you know, being whatever, it requires this like lifetime commitment, this like day-to-day, your whole life has to be built around it. Testosterone, steroids, peptides, you have to like hyper manage your diet. None of this is true. If you want to get down to like 6% body fat, you might have to do some pretty wild stuff. But if you just want to look like really good, you really don't. You can probably 15 minutes a day, you can probably look like pretty great as long as you give it your all, be consistent. Yeah, you'll see the results. I don't know. I want people to feel good about fitness and working on themselves, you know? People like Clavicular, like the lifestyle they're trying to pitch you on is one of misery, you know?
The normal person in terms of like what I
Says
enjoy.
the guy who can barely do one pull-up. But hey, right now I can barely do 2. And before I could do 0. When I first started with the calisthenics, I could do 6 push-ups in a row. And yesterday I did 18. And I probably could have gone further. So is that the fastest progress in the world? No. But is it progress? Yeah. That's how it is. Flex them guns, white boy. Yeah. You got them. Or I do.
Activities I like to do. So yeah, that's why it might be like a little bit confusing, because I'm like leaving that part of the equation out of it.
Yeah.
That's because
Also,
I don't
welcome
know.
back, Bob.
You're you, I'm me,
Hang out
and
soon.
you know, we get to this spot of being maxed out in as many metrics as possible, and then we take it from there.
Has anybody reached full ascension?
Ascending is kind of like an ongoing process. Like,
Is there any 10s out there, like people who have?
no,
Really?
no.
Will there ever be a sort of messiah?
Not with the technology we have now.
Like the methods would have to improve to the point where like scientific.
It is all very gay, though, right? Like, none of this has anything to do with women. There's like an anti-woman field around all this. And I'd say like, but if you're gay, that's cool. But I actually don't think this kind of gay is cool. I grew up next to West Hollywood. I was only a couple blocks away from the part of West Hollywood everyone knows. And a lot of the gay people there are miserable. They're miserable. They're like, I know, I fucked some of them. They're miserable. The funny thing was, every time I hooked up with a guy from West Hollywood, he was super hot, but he was still fucking me. You know, it was like, I'm winning in the end, right? Like, we're talking like guys with like shaved bellies and 6-pack abs, and I don't think I look terrible, but I didn't look like that. And they're fucking me. Well, I was fucking them, but they were the one, you know, they accepted the goddamn grinder ask. Yeah, I don't know. It's all kind of bullshit. You look like a schlub. Yeah. Okay, I can say it. You can't say it. Thank you. But a lot of them were miserable. Do most men think they know better than women when it comes to looks? So I don't think women necessarily know all that much about what men like relative to men deciding what men like either, because again, you know, everyone's trapped in their own brain, right? I think the problem is that these men specifically are anti-beauty. Like, beauty is the flutter in your heart when your eyes make contact with somebody and you imagine a life with them. Beauty is not a facial ratio. Obviously, there's a correlation between normative beauty standards and facial proportions. Like, that's a fact, and it always will be. But like, trying to reduce beauty to this vapid, senseless mathematical formula betrays a misunderstanding of what beauty is and what it represents. So in this case, like, not only do these guys not know what women want, they're actively disinterested in it. I don't think they know what they want, to be honest with you. But again, a lot of it's just memes. It's just memes.
Evolution would
Right.
precede that.
Yeah, more so like just surgical intervention. Who knows? So I'm really not going to predict what sort of science is going to come in the future.
How did you feel about the whole like Miami Club controversy a few months ago?
The controversy I'm referring to is how many people, including myself, became aware of Clav in the first place. So, while on stream, a while ago now, Clav went to a nightclub in Miami with some other guys. While they were out, both in the Sprinter van and inside the club, somebody played Kanye's famous Hitler song. You know the one. The incident led to widespread media attention, condemnation by political leadership, a blame game amongst participants, and earned Clav a lifelong ban from all major Miami clubs.
How do I feel about it?
Yeah, the aftermath, like the
Well, I
magnitude
mean,
of
it
coverage.
sucks not being able to go to like some of the mod clubs. I mean, I just started college club maxing. In a lot of ways, that was like actually better because it's more affordable actually. So like, you know, a lot of people like sort of like to talk about that in interviews, and it's like, dude, what's the relevance? Like, how is that even correlated with looks maxing?
You talk about mainstream coverage and the magnitude of coverage that has came after some of these controversies and the things they get wrong.
Yeah. So I'd say that would be something that they get wrong. That
He's so boring when he speaks long form. Yeah, no, seriously. Again, it's not very charismatic. God damn.
I'm political.
So when you were with those guys, you didn't know that was going to happen?
No. I mean, no one really intended on that. Like, I didn't play it. It's just like kind of interesting how like that keeps getting like brought back. It really like kind of died off.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even need to talk about it.
Do you think he
I was
reads?
just wondering if you had any closing commentary on it or anything reflective you had to say about it.
I had nothing to do with it.
In general, what's your 10-year plan? Do you think that far ahead?
No. I was actually talking to one of my buddies the other day. Like, the goalpost is always moving, so it would be ridiculous to set a goal for yourself.
You have a dream collaboration?
I mean, there's a lot of people who I'd like to collaborate with, some bigger media personalities. I mean, having as many like press appearances as possible is always a good thing because it allows you to talk to new audiences, right? You're targeting a little bit older of a demographic within Gen Z.
Our demographic is basically the latest Gen Z. So like the average Channel 5 viewer is a 27-year-old American man.
Whereas I'm like more 18 to 24. That's good.
I think it's super interesting too, like the volume of content they seem to appreciate. They like content filmed over a long period of time, like 8 hours of content straight, and they want it live. Whereas our audience prefers a more polished, maybe 15-minute piece that's like a bunch of footage edited perfectly and have with like a narrative arc and a through line.
Yeah, I think there's all sorts of media that people enjoy, but I think the main part of streaming that people enjoy is just like not knowing what's gonna happen next. It sort of seems like in a lot of my streams, like things can take a turn for the worst, the best. Like you really don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect.
Because you're filming so much stuff, it's like a lot of things can happen. Is there any moments you regret from streaming?
Not really, because we're here now.
So even the losses you took on the way were all part of the hustle and the journey.
Yeah, because it's like
I feel like in a weird way, Andrew Tate is actually a lot more introspective. Like Tate is extremely performative, but behind the kayfabe, you can see, like you understand he knows it's all a big bit. And I know that Clav does as well, but he just doesn't show through. He's very dull, I guess.
you learn, like maybe that's not a good idea to do that.
From a security standpoint, how do you stop stream snipers from ruining your...
I'm not gonna talk about that.
Okay. Just because you don't want people to know what your protocol is?
Correct.
Word. Trying to think what else I should ask about. It's tough because I don't want to put you in any boxes, but I'm sure there's people that probably want to know about various controversies. If you don't want to talk about any, that's cool.
I mean, more so like to talk about like looks maxing in my interviews. And it's like kind of annoying because no interviewer has actually like come up with a question ever that's been more than what would be the #1 piece of advice you would recommend people to looks max. I've genuinely never had a single person ask me specifics about how do these two things interact.
Isn't that kind of telling? The only people who actually take that advice are deeply mentally ill. Like deeply deep. If you're going online and you're like, I want to be hotter, I need to get on this peptide steroid gel offered by a incel cult leader, like obviously these people aren't, going to be incredulous or anything. They all have gender dysphoria. I mean, to an extent, that's definitely an element in it. Yeah, 100%. I just genuinely don't know what the goal is. I think that if you wanted to really boil it down and really, really, really simplify it, I think that a lot of young men are petrified of women and the damage that their laughter can do to their egos. So what they're trying to do is develop a social and psychological environment of attraction that doesn't actually involve women. By reducing attraction to a formula that can be attained via finicky online guides and stupid bullshit only guys care about or whatever, you make the whole process of being a ladies' man something that has nothing to do with women at all. Like, Clav can talk about how he's the looks maxed or whatever, but he's not, like, fucking anyone. It's like, oh, look, we've maximized how attractive you are to women. Are you spending time with women? No? Okay, well, then there you go, right? Fucking, who cares? So I think it's about creating a simulacrum of attractiveness that allows you to avoid having to challenge yourself by confronting a woman to begin with. You know what I mean? They're appealing to a non-existent concept in their head called woman. There's no actual engagement with real women. Yeah, or if they are, they're just like club goers who are amused by Claver, or they're paid, you know, so on and so forth. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. I think it fundamentally comes down to a terror of women. I do not think it is a coincidence that Clav got into this during the COVID lockdowns. I do not think it's a coincidence that the whole incel looks maxing, so on and so forth, came about post-COVID. Everyone got a lot less social very quickly, and this sprung up basically immediately in that void. I think he wants to have sex with himself. Wrong read. He hates himself. He probably doesn't spend much time in front of mirrors when he's not in front of a camera. Not at all. He's not actually self-obsessive at all.
Or how does looks maxing differ from this age to this age? Is it still possible to looks max?
Like that guy looked the same.
How does looks?
He literally looks this. This just the lighting's different. He looks exactly the same. This is what I mean about like mental illness too. Dude's already got a pretty damn good jawline, you know? What do you that's him, I think? Yeah, I think so, right? Like what are we doing here?
Maxing differ from this age to this age? Is it still possible to looks max? Like there's no effort really behind the questions that you guys prepare, seemingly. It just seems to be a lot of like gotcha mode, like clip farm shit. And
well, I'm not
like,
doing that.
Yeah, you are a little bit to a degree.
I don't think so. I think when you see the full presentation, it's not really going to be edited or clipped into my face.
Well, just because it's not the worst
This does make me wonder if he's not actually a grifter, though. If he isn't a grifter, he's really lacking in self-awareness. If he's actually upset that interviewers aren't engaging with him in his stupid bullshit looks maxing minutia, which is an insane thing to complain about, like you're a lol cow, no one fucking cares. Like he's actually upset they're not talking about bone smashing technique with him. That's kind of wild. Like that betrays on his end a sincere interest in this weird self-debasement. Maybe he's not a grifter. Maybe he's just very mentally ill. I don't know. It's pretty hard to tell with people.
I've had, I mean, like you had like a couple of ones that you were trying to sneak in with like, oh, what is slut hate? It's like,
yeah, I mean, it's the second letter in the.
But I mean, like you know what you're intentionally trying to do. And
yeah, I'm trying to figure out because it's a pretty strongly worded forum and subculture.
Yeah, and that would be fine if that question was in there because it's decently relevant to the culture. But there was not even a single genuine attempt at like a specific looks max question.
So wait, do you think it's bad that he asked that or no? What do you... Okay. I'm not sure if I understand the...
I'm not in the looks maxing community. I'm trying to learn about it. Not everyone talking to you is going to be a niche person who knows about all the methods.
Yeah, I know you're not in the looks maxing community, but you didn't even ask a looks maxing question, like at all. You don't need to be in the looks maxing community to ask a looks maxing question.
So I think we've been talking about looks maxing this whole time.
Well, why not offer that information, you know? Like, if I was being given an interview and I was annoyed because I wasn't being asked specific questions about a topic, you can just talk about it. When you say he's mentally ill, do you actually believe he is, or is that hyperbole? Oh, no, if he's sincerely into this and it's not like a grift that he's trying to write, absolutely a mental illness, 100%. Yeah. I'm on a massive drug cocktail, including meth, in an effort to maximize my appearance, and I intend to be dead by 30. I hit my face with a hammer to shape my bone. Yeah, it's like an incredible amount of mental illness. 100%, yeah. He's literally said, he said, like, I'm going to do a cocktail of drugs to, like, maximize, all to, like, look like a slightly above average. I'm sorry, it's not all jaw structure, man. The aura. The lack of aura. To be dead by 30, yeah, that's mental illness, 100%. I think he's pretty cute physically, but he has no charisma. I've passed on guys more attractive than him because they couldn't hold a conversation. It's really important to be able to hold a conversation. You need a personality, Max. Yeah.
We've been talking about like the philosophy behind it, and it's.
You want me to ask you a scientific question about looks maxing?
I just think it's kind of funny how like that's really never been done with the amount of like media appearances.
Maybe people don't know you want to be asked that. Well, now they will.
Well, that's quite literally what your companies, your press
your companies. You think I work for like Time Warner or something?
Your press companies. You work for Channel 5.
It's a YouTube channel called Channel 5. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm the CEO of my own company. I don't have any agenda at play here.
Holy semantics, dude. Like, what?
It's not really semantics. It's actually a pretty like important distinction. You thought he worked for like a syndicated news channel? Did you not vet the? You didn't even like Google the guy first? Okay, maybe he's not a grifter. Fuck. I'm glad I watched this video. Okay. All right.
Pretty big difference between working for an affiliate news station like Channel 5, the TV company.
Well, the fact of the matter is, like, you guys specifically reach out. We want to interview him about looks maxing, and then you'll start asking like political questions, and I'm just like, okay, like I don't mind it. You know what I mean? I'm not really.
Looks maxing is very political. Okay.
Like afraid to answer anything, you know, gone through every single question of yours besides the one about my security, which is a little bit weird. But yeah, not a single attempt at anything in regards to looks max.
Okay, what's a question I should ask?
Well, that's up to you. It's
Well,
like,
you're
what
telling
am I
me-
gonna?
No, if you're knowledgeable on the Clav, if you're knowledgeable on the subject, you should be able to pitch like an area of. This is part of understanding a topic is being able to teach the topic. That's a huge part of. That's very important. You why not like open up the field a little bit? Yeah, I can't believe he doesn't know what Channel 5 is. That's crazy. You know, it's not like a small, irrelevant YouTube channel.
Tell you how to do your job.
You're telling
I
me
mean,
you want me to ask you about specific scientific questions about different looks maxing methods.
Well, I mean, just.
And you're not happy with the question about the peptides or the bone smashing or anything like that.
I mean, like, can you not identify like anything that you have a curiosity about? Like maybe, you know, you wake up with dark circles in your eyes one morning and like, you know, even something like that. I mean, just like, even if you don't give a shit, I mean, like it would be like, at least, you know, you put a little bit of effort into.
I think I've done a pretty good interview.
From what like context? Because if it's from the.
This is really interesting. Normally when you guys say, oh, the video gets good at the end, you're lying. This is actually very, very interesting to me.
Context of what you guys reached out was your intention, then I would say that you've done a pretty shitty job.
All right. Well, I think people probably want to learn about you, and that was what I was trying to give you the opportunity to do.
Well, I know. I think that's totally fair, and that's I applaud you for that. But not one, you know, question about looks maxing.
There's been so many questions about looks maxing. I probably asked you about looks maxing like 40 times. I just don't know the specific science. I'm not in the community.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, if you were to ask about like something in regards to hair loss, like, there's really nothing.
Yeah, sure. Hair loss.
You see what I mean?
Telling me what to, you're trying to get
telling
me
you
to...
what to ask. So when you wake up every single morning and you take a look in the mirror, you're 100% satisfied with every single thing. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, dude. All right.
It's like he can't imagine not being tormented by the demon of insecurity. He can't imagine it. You know, it's genuinely very sad. I think there's a lot of people who are like that. It's fun, like he's in a weird way. It's actually kind of like a feminist ambition, right? Because he's inflicting on young men the worst standards of self-hatred that young women are taught to have with regard to their appearances. Like rather than reducing the burden young women feel to fit in and be beautiful, we're instead taking that mental illness and directing it across the fence. Make sure everyone's suffering equally. You know? It's crazy. I think the problem with Clav's perspective or his pitch here is that the looks maxing isn't for anything. He's not fucking anyone. Like, I'm not saying the only reason to get attractive is for sex, but it's a big reason. Like, it's pretty high up there for a lot of people. Like, oh, getting hot so I can like be super hot to people, right? Like, it's obviously pretty high up there. But he's not offering that. So like, what's the reason? Like, if I, a regular schlubby guy, let's say I didn't care about fitness at all. And it's not like I'm a super in shape guy, but I do care about fitness at least a little bit. I do in concept, but let's say I didn't care at all. And I was talking to an athlete, and the athlete was like, you haven't asked me any questions about how I got fit. And I'm like, well, I don't really care how you got fit. Like, I'm just talking about your life. I'm not really interested in the details of working out. And the athlete could be like, okay, here are some good reasons to at least get a little bit in shape. And then he could talk about, you know, the reasons why it's good to be basically fit, right? The increase in balance and mobility, and you're fighting off like long-term bone degeneration, and you feel better altogether. You could make a positive case for how it affect your life. But Clav can't make a case for how your life is improved by you freaking the fuck out over every little detail in your face. How does this improve your life? Like, I've already got shit to do in the morning. I'm making coffee, I'm having breakfast, I'm answering emails. Why do I need to add in like 17 routines? Why do I need to add in peptides and testosterone and steroids? How does this improve my life at all? So, like, you're not pitching it to me properly, you know? I don't know. You would have to make, if you could make me a good case for it, if you were like, listen, Vosh, okay, you look fine, but if you do this change in your life, you will look this much better. And it means that when you go to the club, you will have to physically push the baddies off of you because they'll be clamoring for your dick. If you could pitch it to me on like a use case basis, then I'd be like, okay, I mean, I'll think about it. But if you're just selling the idea of being insecure about my face to me on its own with no you all understand what I'm saying, right? He can't provide a good reason to be like him because being like him seems like it sucks. I will say, though, I am much more interested in him now that I think he isn't grifting. Like, he probably plays it up for entertainment purposes, but now this to me seems genuinely like illness, which is interesting to me.
I guess that's just, if you want to be completely disingenuous, that's fine.
He can't imagine it. He can't even imagine it. He can't even go, okay, well, that's fine for you or whatever. He has to, he can't imagine not having that voice in the back of your head telling you you're not good enough.
Yes, there's just no point to continue.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right.
Yep.
All right, thanks, guys. No worries. Yeah, no, everything's fine. We're all good. Yeah.
Though a bit disappointed that things panned out the way they did, I was too overwhelmed with excitement to trip too hard about Clav cutting things short. I'd just gotten word hours prior that rapper and newly championed First Amendment icon Afro Man was down to give Channel.
Okay, gotcha. Looking forward to it. Wow, okay, that was really interesting. I think the reason Clav's getting frustrated is because he wanted to launder looks maxing to Channel 5's audience for attention. I actually disagree. I do not think he was being that cynical. He seemed actually frustrated at the end there. Clav has admitted he's autistic, which literally explains everything. Black pillars are something like 15 times more likely to be autistic. That, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. You struggle with social connections, so you like kind of you turn into a recluse. You turn inward. You think there's no point in socializing with people or interacting. You get like hooked on special interests or like perceived fixes. There's an after credits. Okay, I'll finish it, I guess.
That's my reason why I don't like the N-word. I don't think black people should call themselves that.
If you'd like to see that interview with Afro Man in its raw form, which is over 3 hours in runtime, it's out now on our Patreon at patreon.com/channel5, along with the Gooniversary documentary. All right, back to Fort Lauderdale and Clav. Although Clavicular and I didn't exactly see eye to eye during our sit down, especially toward the end, he actually invited our crew back out the next night because he, like most people, wanted to party with our co-host, Saddam.
Yo, can you define success to me?
You're looking at it, brother.
Would you rather have financial success, looks-matic success, or like romantic success?
Looks first, everything else follows.
Yeah, we're right here. We're in the club with Clavicular. Right now, he got the whole section full of Stacy's, and we're just chill maxing.
We love Clav! We love Clav! We love Clav!
Yeah, some niggas is hella serious about this shit. They really bound that looks maxing. This nigga a god to some people. What's your thoughts on looks maxing?
People can do whatever they want. Me personally, I like the way I look, so I'm happy with that. I don't have to do anything. But if you want to change something about yourself, then it's whatever.
Bro, if there's something you don't like about yourself, change it, man. Wake up and just change it.
Are you a looks maxer?
No. Stop living a life you don't want to live, you know what I'm saying?
The societal indoctrination of looks not mattering is completely ridiculous.
Fucking gross. Everyone should shave their pits. You guys need to grow the fuck up. A quick little fucking pit lick of a guy at the club. You're freaking out over this. It's Florida. Get over yourselves. Maybe you people need to deal with your insuldom.
And I think that's been shown throughout the last 10 to 15 years with social media. You know, if you're really serious about improving tangible things like money, status, relationships, like improving looks is a pretty obvious thing to do.
If you have to looks max, you're not that hot.
What are your thoughts on the looks maxing movement?
I love it. I love everything about it.
Why is that?
Because, I mean, if you can improve yourself, why not? Do it. Do it for the fun. Why not look good, have money, and be successful all at the same time? You know what I'm saying? And if you attract more people into your life, that's more opportunity.
That's a theory I'm going to explain to you. It's called trickle-down economics. You see, all these bitches are here because I invited them, but obviously I can't have sex with all of them. It's just too much work.
Yeah, you could. You absolutely could if you wanted to. You could. You're like 10 years younger than me. You could get that shit done in like a night or two.
So that they trickle down and then the rest of the buddies can take care of it.
Guys, get these icky women away from me. That's crazy. Yeah, but there's no RI in that? Yeah, I suppose. Shit don't work because of the steroids? Well, maybe. What does someone like this even fantasize about? I don't know. It's very weird. It's very weird. Is he doing roids? Is that like confirmed? Yes, it's very much confirmed. It's not even something that needed to be confirmed, to be honest with you. Oh, quiet on the frontal lobe. Yeah. "15 years ago, this guy would have just been called gay." We need to return. We need to fucking return. Oh, anyway. Maybe using gay as an insult was a good thing. I think that it's probably not good to make fun of men for not having sex with women, but it might have been preferable to creating an undercast of men who provide lengthy philosophical and political justifications for why it's very important that women be subservient to men, but also they personally don't want to have sex with them. It's like they're sublimating the sexual desire with the desire to dominate. You know, like you can't, rather than showing you're a man by fucking women, which at least is fun for everyone involved, ideally, you show you're a man by expressing political dominion over them, but you're not even fucking them. So like, what's the, it's like the difference between a chauvinist and a misogynist, I guess. No? Clavicular cannot imagine being happy. Close this, close that. How are we doing? You know what I'm doing? Hungry. Fucking hungry. What is this? Somebody linked this. 179 days of seeing if I can get jacked in under 20 minutes a day.
Day 179 of seeing if I can get jacked in under 20 minutes a day. This was me day 1, and this is me now, up 14.
That's a solid improvement, yeah.
Or 15 pounds. Timer starts now. 30 push-ups. 13 pull-ups. 11 dips.
So is he doing structured argument, or sorry, structured exercises, or is he literally just like fucking around for 20 minutes, like just whatever he wants to do? You know?
10 curls, 20 lateral raises, 12 archer push-ups.
What's this obsession with exercising and fitness? Well, he's just doing 20 minutes a day. That's not really an obsession. You should do that. Like everyone should. 20 minutes of like our bodies were designed to walk like at least 4 miles a day. Can I get a link to this? Daily Reps Guy. That's the name.
55 decline push-ups total. 24 pull-ups total.
I can't do 24 pull-ups, that's for sure.
22.
Designed? Yeah, designed. Or like, that's what we were expected to do back in the good old days when we were foraging berries or whatever. Yeah.
Dips total. 20 curls.
Designed by who? No, colloquially, when you say designed, that doesn't necessarily imply a creator. Evolved to do. But oh, by science. Oh, my science. I just stubbed my toe. I stepped on a Lego. Thank Dawkins. Fuck you, people. Reddit ass.
Total. 40 lateral raises total. 24 archer push-ups total. 80 decline push-ups total. 34 pull-ups total. 32 dips total. That's time. Here's a breakdown of today's workout. You should try it out. I gotta tell you, bulking's weird mentally.
This is definitely not the most efficient way to build muscle, right? He's kind of doing like the full body workout every day. I feel like you're gonna lose on gains doing that. Hear what he's saying about bulking? Yeah. You do need rest days.
It just feels kind of weird to be putting on weight, feeling stronger, but looking less strong, meaning like less defined. I have to remind myself pretty often that I'm doing this for other reasons beyond just aesthetics. I'm seeing what my body and mind are capable of, and that's pretty cool. But if you have any tips, tricks, or thoughts, I'd love to hear.
Actually, Vosh, full body every day is the current meta in the fitness community. That's retarded. And that sounds like clavicular bullshit to me. Full body every day. Okay, sure. Yeah, whatever. If you want to spend an hour in the gym, it's like people who brag when they're like, yeah, I went to the gym twice today. I was in the gym for 2 hours. Then you were wasting your time. You literally don't need to be doing that. They like to suffer. More like they like to take long breaks between sets at the fucking bench, waste everyone else's time. Not ideal, but it's motivating to say you really only need 20 minutes. Well, what I'm saying is I don't even think you need 20 minutes. I'm saying I think that you could like skip days. You could skip days. You could, you know, even get it down a little bit. What do you recommend for 20-minute workout? I don't. It's fine. I'm not built well enough to give workout advice. How high should I be able to jump? What race are you? Here. I am going to read donos. God, my legs are sore. River. Oh, you want to escape? She's purring. Since you're watching vids, Vosh, I find it irritating you're praising Hassan all the time. Can you not be insane? This is it's the telltale sign of a drama frog when somebody comes in and they're like, I don't like that you're positive about X. If Hassan says something that I agree with, I say I agree with it. And if he says something I don't agree with, I don't agree with it. Simple as that. This video is about Ukraine. You know that I've been like super consistent criticizing Hassan for his positions on Ukraine and Russia, right? For fuck's sake, read the room. When centrists attack Hassan, we stan Hassan. It's not standing Hassan. It's just that right now, Hassan is being attacked for stuff that he's correct on. That's it, you know? Like, I mean, if he was being attacked on stuff he wasn't correct on, River, we can all see your butt. We can see your butt. Rubbing her face all over my damn workout equipment. I hate beards, TBH, but it kind of works on Vosh. Thank you for your co-signing. They love to do that, Valerie. They love to do that. You don't have a cat tree? We have multiple cat trees across the house. I just don't have one in here. On the topic of Ukraine, I feel like you could have been clearer about the fact that Ukraine isn't giving drones to Israel to use against Iran, but rather giving drone defense to the Gulf countries. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know. I'll keep that in mind. I don't want Iran and Ukraine to fight, okay? I want them to be friends. I do want billions to smile. Okay. Kumquat 151. Thank you for the very kind 20 bucks. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Samfan 155. Thank you for the 25 bucks. Happy April Fools. To celebrate, I shall now demand of you 1 hour-long segment about office supplies as a break from the politics. Why dick and balls? So noted. I'm afraid I don't have that many office supplies. I do have an enormous number of artist pens that I recently organized This is just one of 4 pencil cases full of them. Apart from that, not that much. Are they different colors? Nope. Do you draw? I used to. Tender Teal, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Shattered eye socket person here. Successful repair. One of the biggest defects my surgeon's ever seen. Ooh. They keep having to remove air trap behind my eye. That sounds like it fucking sucks. I'm very sorry to hear that. I hope you're doing well. I'm glad the repair was successful, at least. J-Reg Rain, thank you for the $5. Or you can dance. I don't want to watch a dance video. Probably got music too, but I appreciate the sentiment. Dual Non the God, thanks to the tier 1 sub. Godwings 101, thank you for the $5. Correct me if I'm wrong, but hasn't AOC never actually voted for sending weapons and aid to Israel and has only rhetorically supported defensive weapons? Well, she voted present on that one bill, and I believe she also voted against a provision from Marjorie Taylor Greene to cut funding to aid Israel, but that one had some other problems with it. It's mostly a rhetorical thing for me, you know. I mean, if we must assume that AOC's rhetoric tracks to her positions, right? So AOC would have at any point for years defended and signed on to providing Iron Dome funding to Israel. I'd assume. The Zach of all trades, thank you for the $5. I use this website Dare Be for workout ideas. It has challenges and it's free and also has some nice recipes. Dare Be home workout. Oh, that seems cute. I don't mind a little bit of exercise gamification. Look at that. Ah, cute. Link, Dare Be. Jumpstart April challenge. Yeah, sure, yes. Kind of like the Peloton a little bit. I've not heard of it. Sake, thank you for the very kind 5 gifted tier 2 subs. Why doesn't anyone ever ask me about sub dono maxing? Well, you know, unlike Clav, you're willing to make a positive case for it when arguing through donos with Benjamin. So at the very least, you're able to front that position. Are you still a novice woman? Probably, yeah. Haven't done cardio in a while. Thank you, Ivy Moth. How come I never get a gifted? God doesn't smile on you. Are you a sodomite? Go for a jog. Well, the main issue right now is that I'm still dealing with a perennial ankle sprain, perennial tendonitis. It has gotten better, though. I'm not wearing an ankle brace. But for about a month, I was wearing an ankle brace every day. Oh, it's a Rose body's breaking down. Yeah, it happens to the best of us. Another name. Thank you for the $10. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Your self haircut looked surprisingly good. You do better on the scalp than the face, Lamau. I think I do okay. I think I manage. Thank you, thank you. I am Progressive NPC. Thank you for the super kind $20. The company I work for, US-based polyurethane slab stock foam manufacturer, is already experiencing price hikes in our raw chemicals, up to 30% increases within the next couple of months, in addition to tankers being canceled. Yep. Everything in plastics, everything in petrochemicals, obviously, pharmaceuticals. There are so many fields downstream of oil prices that are going to get hit no matter what. Mark Marinelli, thank you for the $5. No, I'm not worried about the arsenic in brown rice. Is this a reference to something? No, I just cut my hair the one time, Valerie. I had an impulse. Paloma Del Mar, thank you for the $5. My dog's turning 9 years old this month and he's getting a bad tooth taken out tomorrow. Wish him luck. Good luck, your dog. I hope they do all right. Patchouli does. Thank you for the 10 SGD. Singaporean dollar, I believe. Middle East Islam is anti-Semitic in general. Seen it myself with people who practice similar sects. Iran was unfortunate to practice a different Islamic sect. Great coverage, by the way. Yeah, I think that, like, unfortunately, I think that the existence of Israel and their behavior has cemented regional tribalism for another century at least, but it didn't have to be that way, you know? ROB, thank you for the very kind $20. Really appreciate that. Feels like we're being run by people who are the product of propaganda trying to do propaganda. Fully agree. Seeing the illiterate politicians and uncaring wretches feels like I'm watching the byproducts of a lost war I haven't heard. Yeah, it feels like you're walking in on the end of an act. Another Sopranos reference, I guess, you know? Everything's closing up as you get in. You get in after the party's already done. It feels like you're watching a copy of a copy of a copy. But the weird thing is that if you're even a little bit historically read, what you're bracing yourself for is the original. People talk about Nazis. Are there Nazis in the government? Yeah, but Nazis now are not like Nazis then. Why? Because they believe different things? No. They believe the same things. It's just that now they're a copy of a copy of a copy, you know? Ghost of Avalon, thank you for the $10. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Kermit Frog and Sean Riordan, thank you for the $2 donos. Really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Stellanot, thank you for the $5. The Dow is no longer at 50K. Kermit Frog, Matt, and George Lucas, thank you for the $5 all. Isn't this like the 50th time you said this in a couple weeks? Yeah, for sure. 100%. Bay Photo and Child Two Feathers, thank you for the $2 donos. Mickey Six, thank you for the $5. Really appreciate that. Hope you're doing all right with them gas prices. Sheila Two Feathers and Bit Daykey, thanks for the $2. Pimp named Slickback and Disabled Caps Lock, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Ghost of Avalon, Sheepish Wolf, and Gray Squid, thank you for the $5 all. This must be what it's like to listen to state TV in North Korea. Okay, not to sound too campist or anything, but I would guess that state propaganda from North Korean generals or pundits is probably more intelligent than what MAGA pundits offer. Genuinely, yeah. I really, truly think that's true. Yeah. I do not think that... my guess would be that North Korean broadcasters do not sound as stupid as Pete Hegseth. You know? Or the people like him, the people around him. Bosh, I doubt that. I don't know. I don't. I don't. Because, like, in a lot of other dictatorships, past and present, the party venerated at least a specific kind of intelligence. But the MAGA movement is, like, ideologically anti-intelligence, which is basically unprecedented in the developed world, you know? Like, I'll put it this way, okay? The original Nazis were anti-intellectual, but they did value a specific kind of, or at least aesthetic of intelligence, right? The idea of, you know, the Aryan Übermenschen, these super learned people who stride the world, right? There was a kind of intelligence that was valued. But the MAGA movement does not even have this. They are not only anti-intellectual broadly and in practice, they are aesthetically anti-intellectual, you know? I would specify that it's irrationalism, not anti-intelligence. I think that's a good way of distinguishing it, yeah. Like, there have been many anti-intellectual regimes, but even within those regimes, there is a carve-out for specific kinds and affects of intelligence. But now it seems like not only are they anti-intellectual, like, broadly, but they're also they embracing the affect, the aesthetic of the opposite. They are retard maxing, to put it in so many words. You speak like a poet, Millennium Master 18. Thank you. It takes a poet to distill truth to its fundamental essence. James, thank you for the $2. Hey, Bucklebob, thank you for the £5. Sam O, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate that. We will see if they move in with troops. There's a lot of mixed reporting right now, but a lot of people seem relatively confident that he is going to move in with troops at some point. River, why are you... Ooh, River. Hold on one second. I'm not going to get River. I'm going to get Bagheera. She is so loving. You know, this fat chicken slept next to me under the covers the entire night. Crawled under the covers and just flopped and purred the entire goddamn night. Which, of course, had the effect of pushing me further and further into the bed, you know, because she would stretch and then I want to roll to the left, but now she's there and I don't want to roll on top of her, so I have to move further and then she gets closer. And now she wants food, which is why she's being all wiggly. Why are you being wiggly? Why are you being wiggly? No, she is an angel. She's very good. Ooh, wiggly. Wiggly fish. All right. You'll get food when I'm done. George Mata Villalobos, thank you for the $5. I agree. Lauren Basdo, thank you for the $5. Akeem Perez, thank you for the $10. Bet money they went in during his speech, if only. That'd be interesting. Excuse me. Sheepish Wolf and Gloomy Orpheus, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. It's crazy how Clavicular has so much attention thanks to the internet. Back in the day, he would have just been another serial killer. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Stuff like that really does make me wonder about the internet. Like, maybe the internet just can't... Hold on one second. Maybe maybe it just shouldn't exist. I don't know. Oh, hold on. Fashion posting. Gingham check still looks bad. Button down collar shirt without a finishing leg can look good. I really want to get some more casual shirts. The ones that I got from Wythe. Is this Wythe? This looks like Wythe. The ones that I got from Wythe didn't fit my proportions perfectly, unfortunately. This is a casual shirt. This is the kind of button-up that you can wear without a suit jacket. You can wear it on its own. The casual shirt, distinguished in many ways. It's got the pocket. It's got the fabric, right? This like light Oxford cloth. Very nice. Are those denim pants? I don't think so. I think those are just blue trousers. But do I have to tuck it in? You don't have to, but like ideally, yeah, especially for one like this. Kamakura OCBD is the backbone of my... I've never tried a Kamakura. Kamakura OCBD. How much do they cost? $150. That's not bad. Oh, these look really nice. I wonder if they would work for my proportions. Matora button-down, selvage, Oxford shirt, New York classic phantoms. Yeah, those look nice. That's a nice collar roll. That's a nice shirt. Is it me or do they look wrinkly? They're meant to. It's a casual shirt. It's not meant to have that like sheen that you get, that sateen effect you get from like a high quality silk or cotton dress shirt. It's meant to be kind of roughly, you know? It's a more casual kind of shirt. See, this to me is peak Americana, you know? This is like, it's perfect. It's perfect, right? You have that preppy, like Ivy look, you know? The Oxford cloth button down, the classic shirt, belt, pants, jeans, white pants, could be jeans, whatever, and a baseball cap. Perfect. This to me, phenomenal outfit. You got a bracelet, a watch, you know, I think it's incredible. And it's very simple, very simple. You can add to it, you can take away from it. It's a very good outfit. We could lose the ball cap. No, I love the ball cap. Classic America. The green hat's throwing me off. That's the point. Oh, you people. You people. Some user, thank you for the 25 bucks. Don't neglect your core, though. It helps your compound lifts. 100%, yeah. People often neglect the core because you can't see your abs getting bigger, usually. But you have to work the core. So important. Big thing you ought to do, Russian twists, okay? You should do Russian twists. Russian twists are just phenomenal. Phenomenal core workout. You get so much done. Hope Slay and Aspire. I unlocked my inner eye, though. I opened it and the world was revealed to me and the path was clear. I got up to Ascension 4 on all characters, which isn't very impressive, but it's better than what I was doing, which was losing over and over at the fucking Ascension 1. I went a little bit further. Scarlet Sins, thank you for the 10 bucks. Oh yeah, the autism comment, we talked about that. Bro, I've never even gotten to 4. Yo! No! What's your favorite character? Mine's the silent. I'll lay it out. Balls on the table. Bones Collector, thanks to 5 bucks. Giving Patrick Bateman. If only he could be so self-assured. Playing the Skelebaub, Necro something, Osty. Osty! I love Necro something. The one character I'm really struggling with, the Regent. Not having as good of a time with him. I do like Osty, though. Era, thank you for the 10 bucks. Honest take, do you think we'll see the Dems actually grow a spine post-midterms? Or do you think it'll be business as usual, i.e. slapping the wrist performing BS? I think it's going to be business as usual. My hope is that a growing wing of the Democratic Party will push for effectiveness, be ostracized, but grow more popular for it. But yeah, my guess is that the party as a whole is going to remain pretty disappointing, you know? Check Kid Super, Gold, Le Fleur, and Elwood. Capitalism. Okay. I assume you mean for OCBDs? Unisex shirt. This isn't my style. Yeah, this is like, these aren't really meant to be tucked in, you know? Not bad. Just not necessarily my thing. I like the sun fading effect on this. Only 85 bucks. That is a very 90s haircut. Look at that. I'll check out Gold Le Fleur because it's got Golf Le Fleur. That is an interesting style compilation on the front. Menu, apparel. Let's find a shirt. Potato sack jacket, many such cases. Blouse, collared shirt. No model photos, so it's hard to tell how they're meant to fit. For me, the big, like, I love how Wyeth styles them. I think they look just stellar. Unfortunately, they also don't show much off with their goddamn models. Why does everything have to be hard? See, this to me, this right here, perfect look, okay? Cannot be improved upon in the casual shirting market. Look at that. Look at how flattering that is, you know? Nice, full, wide cut. Looks interesting on its own. It's not pulling or tugging at your body. It accommodates your proportions. It's not slim at all. Yeah, I mean, the guy wearing it is skinny, sure, but look at that, you know? Chad Chin helps. No, I'm just looking at the clothes. Look at that. That looks good. You got good fits but boring. We've got different style preferences, my friend. Different style preferences. Cool belt. Yeah, that's a Wyeth belt. I actually have that in black, but it doesn't fit me. I got it on sale. It's too small for me. Maybe if I lose enough weight. Wyeth guy. That's true. That's true. That's very good. Those trousers are beautiful. Yeah, they're like these, what, Bedford cord 5-pocket? Yeah, they're corduroy. They're built like jeans. These must also be white. Your fit would go very hard right now with collar? You mean with what I'm wearing right now? This is more of an athletic sweatshirt than it is the kind you'd wear under over a... Oh, thank you, Capitalism. Look, I don't think I'm qualified to talk about fashion at all. I don't think I got my fit on at all, you know? I do like the look of a casual shirt and then putting like an athletic sweatshirt over it. I think that looks very good. Thank you, Max H, for the buck. Okay, I got to read these quick and then I got to skedaddle, okay? Mason M, thank you for the $10. Got an $80 tip at my moving job today after a 12-hour move, so here's a treat while you keep me sane for the last 3 hours lifting heavy things up tiny stairs. Jesus, I'm glad you didn't injure yourself. At least I assume you didn't. Thank you very, very much. Also, you deserve that tip. You don't need to give me shit, okay? Sublime Object, thanks to the Tier 2 sub and the $15. I really appreciate that. Leftists need to embrace fitness because what the right does isn't fitness, but a pantomime of self-improvement. 100%, yeah. No, I think the left just needs to get more involved in the aesthetics of self-improvement. You know, because people care about it, and you have to meet people where they are. Oh, sorry, Mason M. Jesus. You deserve the full goddamn tip. Dick Thulu, thank you for the $20. Baudrillard referenced? Baudrillard. Am I stupid? Am I missing something? Baudrillard? Is that a philosopher? Is it something Doe said? Doe likes philosophy. Is it me? Baudrillard? Yeah, you can tell exactly how much I know. I am stupid. Sake, thank you for the Tier 1 sub. Really appreciate that. Kowalski, thanks for the $5. Looks maxing and farming, both killing the planet with chemicals, toxic communities, treat women like property, and overreact when called in their BS. I can change. No, Kowalski, okay? Don't sell yourself short, all right? You could looks max. In fact, I'd argue you already have. But Clav could not farm. Leaf Bar, thanks to $5. Georgia Republicans are trying to remove party affiliation markers from ballots. Oh my God. When things are going well, we should make it illegal to put Republican next to the candidate on the ballot marker. Jesus Christ. It's so funny. Yeah, it's also crazy how willing Republicans are to cheat, like all the time. Oh, it is a fair strat. Luminaris, thank you for the $5. Happy birthday. Kisses the kitties. I promise to kiss them. Happy birthday. And Indy Jones, thank you for the $5. Do you think it would have been okay if European Jews had still decided to move to Palestine, but instead of creating an ethno-state, they just wanted to immigrate? Yeah, sure. I mean, Palestine under the British mandate was still, I mean, for one, the Brits owned it, so it wasn't like things were fair there to begin with. But also, the mass emigration of millions of people to that part of the world would have been logistically difficult, but I do think some version of a good outcome could have been had there. Like, it's a very, very, very different timeline, but I think that it's possible that could have happened because Jews had been there for thousands of years. You know, would they have faced some anti-Semitism? Sure, but like, you know, that has ended up being the case no matter what. Yeah, British occupied Palestine was far better than what it is now, for sure. 100%. Man. I think it could have happened. I think it could have been better. Let me finish these last super chats and then check out Saman ML clothing brand. Each summer I get fitted my Daniel Tasha stylist. Daniel Tasha stylist. I don't know who that is. Saman ML clothing brand. Tailoring house in Stockholm. Yeah, and they got their whole pussy out on the front page. Suits, jackets, knitwear, trousers. Shirt, jackets, leather, outerwear. What about shirting? Very formal. Made to measure. I can't comment on that much because it's made to measure. They don't have a whole lookbook. Oh, here, I can see some examples. Okay. All right. That's some good construction. An interesting fabric. Oh, looks good to me. I don't have any I don't have any experience with made to measure suiting. I've only ever bought off the rack. What's the argument for a $250 tooled leather belt? Is it really that much higher quality than a cheap tooled leather belt? I'm not sure what you mean. Listen, when you're buying clothing from small brands, you have to think of it like you're buying artists' work, like personally. You know, you can go get a bowl at Target for 50 cents if you want to, like a plastic bowl. Or if there's a local ceramics artist you like, you could pay 20 or 50 or 100 or more. You're not buying it for the utility. You know, if you want a belt that'll just hold your pants up, you can go for whatever. But I try to evaluate, I guess, the price of items based on, like, you know, how much I imagine that item would be worth based on the time it would have taken the artist to make it. And Wyeth is a small production. But is it the best bang for your buck? No, of course not. I mean, there are far less expensive belts out there. You ain't even talking about their most expensive belt. Their Western tooled Ranger belt is nearly $400. But damn, is it beautiful. Look at that. Tooled the whole way down. Gigantic silver buckle. Silver tipped. That's gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful belt. God damn, that looks good. Huh? That being said, there is a big difference you can tell when you're feeling a belt that's made with proper leather, you know, rather than treated leather. Crying, how do you people think this cowboy LARPer shit looks good to Mao? That's a very unkind thing to say from somebody who I'd expect to be a little bit more charitable. You wear jeans? Jeans were made for miners 150 years ago. What kind of work do you do? What are you, a barista? All clothing, except for at the very marginal edges of people's workwear, is you know, affectational. It's just styles you like. You like this, you like that. What a boring world you're suggesting. One where you can only wear clothing that's, like, I don't know what, allotted to your purpose? What is that? Oh, you can't wear the cowboy clothing. You're not a cowboy. Okay. All right. Sorry for not staying in my lane. Come on, man. You know there's a difference between jeans and whatever this is? No, there's not one, and not one you can articulate. That's for sure. This looks like something a Texan who wears a cowboy hat to his office job would wear. Shows how much you know. Texans wear big buckles. That's like the #1 thing you know about Western Texan belt styles. Big buckles, not Ranger tooled. Maybe you need to learn a little bit more about the fashion sartorial subcultures that you're insulting. And I don't like the big buckles, by the way. I do like these. But, like, okay, so what's the problem with it? Why so mean, lol? I'm not the one being mean. Yeah, but the overly thick tooled leather belt's a bit ick to me. You like what you like. It's fine. I just don't think it's an ick thing. Look, I've seen what those, you know, Texas cowboy hat businessmen dress like, and they don't wear nice stuff like this. They tend to wear cheap polyester shit just like everyone else. If I saw a person wearing something like this, I would not assume they were some kind of chauvinist, you know, LARPing conservative. I would assume they're gay. Which I think in most cases is probably the more likely, you know, If you see somebody who's done up in like historically accurate American workwear, they're not like a chud. They're a fashion guy, you know? That's a nice casual shirt right there. Ooh, look at the sweep on these trousers. God damn, that looks good. Yeah, that's cute. I got one of these. They're moleskin pearl snaps, very warm. Oh, there's that belt. Got good leather jacket recommendations? Oh, there's lots of them. I mean, Shot NYC is the classic. Moleskin, is that good? Moleskin is just a kind of cotton. It's not made of moles. It's a cotton fabric. Oh, I like it less now. Okay. Northern Kingdom. What are we on about? Moleskin is a brand of sketchbook? Yes, it is. You'll never guess how it came to be called that. Anyway, Luxra, are you going to get on this lady's case for wearing a sawtooth pearl snap when she's just gardening? Sorry, I'm being crabby. Not a fan of the sawtooth. My very favorite sawtooth Western shirt is one from Imogene and Willie. I haven't bought it, but maybe one day I will. It is beautiful. They're known for it. Hold on. Tops. Always in short supply here in Seattle. Not that I would know, except by hearing the complaints of the bottoms. Where the fuck is it? Hey, hey, look familiar? Oh. Look at that handsome red sweatshirt right up there in the top right. Where's that fucking... They not have it? Oh, here it is. Look at that. Deep indigo nep. I think that's beautiful. Such a rich color. That is going to fade in beautifully, too, over time. That's what I like. I really like Imogene and Willie's stylings here, you know? Look at that. It's such a simple outfit, but he looks phenomenal. And it's not just him being skinny. It's the shirt and, well, the t-shirt and the shirt and the jeans and the shoes. It all works and it all fits perfectly. It comes distressed from the factory? No. This is how it looks when you get it. No, it's a great fit. It's simple. It's why it's, again, I think Imogene does a really good job with their model work, because they do modeling for pretty much every piece they sell, and it's always, the fits are always simple. You could understand it very easily, you know? You look at it and you're like, very comprehensible. Is that denim? The shirt? Yeah, it's denim. So it's going to fade in beautifully. Why no fat guy models? It is true. Imogene and Willie is, we'll say, constrained to the classic proportions of American menswear. So yeah, if you're all, you know, big and round, it might be a little bit more difficult to get these clothes to fit you properly. But even then, their XLs are pretty large. So, you know. Hello, River. See, look at that. Tell me the texture on that is not lovely. Come on. Come on, work with me here. That looks very good. Indigo is how it's dyed. The nep are all these little flecks of white that you see. In a lot of cases, those flecks of white are actually bits of cottonseed and fluff that went undyed in the dyeing process. You get the indigo yarn of cotton, and then you have like flecks of undyed that are added in, and it gives it this, well, it gives it that texture right there. Add a bit of fiber to your shirt, yeah. Hang on, the cotton is dyed before weaving? It depends. Garment dyed clothing, it's dyed after the clothing item has been assembled. But most clothing, yeah, you dye the yarns before you weave them together, which allows you to do more interesting stuff. Like, for instance, because this is denim, it's lighter on the inside because the warp and the weft threads are different colors. Usually what happens is that the warp, 3/1, is dyed indigo, and the weft, 1/3, is dyed or is undyed. It's not dyed at all. And that's the reason why the inside of your jeans are white, but the outside are blue. Sawtooth pearl snap detailing. This is the Western yoke with the 2 points down the back. Ah, delightful. Well, get it at 1 point. 1 point or another, maybe. Have to lose a bit of weight first, because if I got this, I'd want it to fit slim, because Western shirts are supposed to fit slim. All right, all right. Curious in your opinion of Drake's of London? Drake's is excellent. I don't own anything of theirs, but everything I see from Drake's looks great. All right. I'll see you all tomorrow. At least I believe. I don't think I'm doing anything in the morning tomorrow. You all take care. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Drink water and do a little bit of exercise. I'll exercise with you, okay? I swear, don't you have something very similar to the indigo shirt that I just showed you? A Western shirt? No, I do not. I'd like to. All right. Take care.